Grey Cup rematch, and who knows, maybe a Grey Cup preview. Ticats Stamps on the CFL Live. Hey everybody, and welcome to our final day on the CFL Live. James Duffy along with Chris Schultz and Matt No. Who are you? It's Suitcase Suitor, fresh off the red eye from Vancouver.
This is a cushy enviment you guys got going
we like
here.
it too here.
This is a nice gig.
Don't tell anybody about our secret.
Him and Matt are you guys are gonna get soft.
No. We'll stay focused.
We will be playing musical analysts all day long. Matt is in Hamilton. He'll be back for the second game a little bit later on. And it is doubleheader day. The Argos and Eskimos coming up a little later. But let us talk about Hamilton and Calgary, the two Grey Cup finalists trying to begin their road back to the Grey Cup this year. And Chris, Hamilton has really had a strong second half of the season.
You know, they have. I like the Hamilton Ticats right now. To me, they're focused. Danny McManus has that right cohesion with his receivers, with his slot backs. In my opinion, they're playing some great football. The defense is aggressive, yet they're disciplined. What I don't like about the Hamilton Ticats is they're 1-7 against Montreal, BC, and Calgary. Those are the top teams. You can honestly say they're mediocre in terms of competing at the top. They have to win tonight to get that perception back that they're a dominant team. They have not had success against the best. They need to do it this afternoon, James.
All right. Now, you were one of the best quarterbacks this league has ever seen.
No, wrong guy.
Glenn,
No,
still there.
Yeah.
Still got the notes from the other guy.
Yeah.
Change of philosophy, perhaps, for Calgary because they know that BC won and they don't have a chance at first?
Yeah, as of last night, Wally Buono was looking at this game as a chance for first place, so he's going to play his starters from start to finish. Now it changes, and now Wally Buono has a little balancing act to do with right now because Dave Dickinson has been nicked with the bad shoulder. He's not going to start, but you want to play him a little bit to keep him sharp, and that's the same with Kelvin Anderson. He's been nursing a bad ankle for the last 3 weeks. They got to play him to keep him sharp and get him playing his best going into the playoffs, but they got to be careful that he doesn't get injured.
All right, for more on the game, let us send you right out to the guys who will call this one. The guy who's usually in that seat, Matt Dunnigan. He is with Rod Smith in Hamilton.
James, a nice sunny day, but it's got that November chill in the air. The weather conditions brought to you by the Weather Network. And 9 degrees Celsius, but quite a breeze from the west. 30 kilometers per hour could really make the kicking game interesting here today between the Stamps and the Tiger Cats. Well, Matt, you don't tell these coaches that it's a nothing game. They don't want to hear about that. But for Wally Buono, given the circumstances now, it gives him a chance to rest his quarterback.
Rod, that is a big but because he will rest Dickinson. He's got 2 ailing shoulders now, not just one, but 2. But Mike McCoy will get the start. Dickinson should see some playing time, about a quarter, and don't be surprised to see O.T. Sampson in there.
As far as the Ticats, no change on offense, but one big change in the secondary.
That's right, solidifying their secondary. Shino Prater's out. Frank West is in the corner, so this comes at a great time because they are playing the Stampeders and Danielson, Moore, Pitts. They've been hot. A great time for Frank West to get healthy.
As said, don't tell these teams it's a nothing game, guys, especially when they're thinking about meeting again 3 weeks from today at BC Place. Back to you.
All right, and we will hear more from those two a little bit later on. But when we return, well, we will take you around the league. One playoff spot left up for grabs. The green and gold hopes green leads them to gold. And the Bombers are alive! But for how long? Previews next.
The CFL Live pregame is brought to you by Molson Canadian.
Well, the game plan was simple for BC. Blow away the lowly Riders in the first half, wrap up the West, rest your regulars in the second half, enjoy your week off. Oopsie, didn't quite turn out that way. The Riders gave the Lions a game last night at BC Place. First quarter was ugly. We'll spare you the punishment. Second quarter, we'll pick it up. Curtis Mayfield, Will Field. And on this play, the Lions special teams, not so special, Chris.
Oh, James, they totally misjudged the play. I mean, this is too easy. Nobody even came close to him.
Then, Saskatchewan driving again. They call the tackle eligible. What did Buckwheat used to say? O'Day, Jeremy.
Hey, an offensive lineman's dream to end the game on the statistical chart in points scored. Way to go, O'Day.
Somebody's jealous that Damon Allen to Rocky Henry.
He sticks a fork in the pigskin, starts a great drive in the hurry-up for Damon Allen, his only drive of the first half.
That will set up this. Allen 2. Yes, it's the Blair catch project. 16 yards. Don Blair, 17-10 at the half. Second half, after an earlier fumble, Robert Drummond makes amends. From the 5, he goes untouched in. They would miss the convert, but they get a field goal. They're up 19-17. Under a minute to go. Paul McCallum, 44 yards to possibly win it. Wide right.
Prior to the kick, Paul McCallum got caught up in trash talking with the BC defense, and it cost him.
19-18. the Lions do survive. Much closer than this one should have been, mainly because of BC turnovers. They had 6 of them, but they do get it done. And so with that, yes, the Lions have wrapped up the West. Even if Calgary wins today, BC wins the tiebreaker. Calgary will host the semifinal next week against either Edmonton or Winnipeg. And as for the Lions, Glenn, they accomplished what they wanted to, but it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but the good news for BC is they did get that bye. They earned it, 13 wins. It was a great season in the regular season. They earned the bye, and now they get that chance to rest and heal up if they have some nicks. Robert Drummond was nicked in that football game. He's got that extra couple of weeks. And they also need this 2 weeks because in that first quarter, they certainly didn't look very good. They need to work on their offense, Chris. Did you guys get paid for doing what you're doing?
Yeah, we get paid for doing what I'm doing.
I mean, this is a pretty good deal here.
It is a good deal. That's why I'm doing it. Hey, the BC Lions, there's no doubt that they have not played well previously, but you know what? I don't care. Their season is over. They won first place. Give them some credit. It is now a one-game season for these people. And remember, they have an ultimate collection of athletes that can make big plays. Big plays influence football games more than anything else, James.
Chris, do you miss Matt as much as I do? Our later game today, the only last playoff spot up for grabs. Edmonton has a chance to do it. Don Matthews has never missed the playoffs. That is in jeopardy this weekend. His team needs to beat the Argos, keep destiny in their own hands, and to qualify. Now, Toronto won the first meeting. In fact, the Argos have won 5 of the last 6 against the Eskimos. And nothing game really for the Argos, but you know that Eric Tillman, well, let's say he'd enjoy knocking Don Matthews out of the playoffs. All right, Glenn, Edmonton, finally they can put together a solid lineup.
Yeah, they really do have a solid lineup for this game, and there will be no speech necessary from Don Matthews because this is playoff game number 1 for the Edmonton Eskimos. Win and you're in. And they have their best lineup together offensively. Sean Millington coming off a huge game, 225 yards rushing. Nealon Green is in the lineup, and at the receivers position, they got Fred Bailey, Terry Vaughn, and Donnie Ashley all together for the first time.
And you know what? The Toronto Argonauts better be ready because these Edmonton Eskimos are waiting to pounce. The Argos last week, they tried to play fancy football. First play of the game was an onside kick. They tried a punt reverse that fumbled and really influenced who won that football game. They can't do this week. Get back to basics. Get back to mastery of the fundamentals of the game. The injury at center to Chad Folk, that is huge because it really hurts the cohesion that they just about had in that offensive line. If they get those reps, get that cohesion back, they'll have a shot to advance on the playoffs, but they can't get fancy. Stay basic, James.
All right, now the other game is Sunday, Winnipeg and Montreal, and you know, Jim Belushi starred in Mr. Destiny, but perhaps it should have been Dave Ritchie. 3 weeks ago, the Owls fumble with 30 seconds left. Bombers score a miracle last-second touchdown and win. Last week, a sure incompletion is tipped right into the hands of Nigel Williams, and they pull out another one. The Bombers do appear to be a team of destiny, at least in the last couple of weeks, and they are alive, but tough chores they take on the Owls, who are 8-2 in their last 2 games against the Bombers. This game means nothing if Edmonton wins, but if Edmonton loses, the Bombers will get in the playoffs with either a win or a tie. So how do they do it, Glenn?
Well, first of all, if I'm Winnipeg, I don't even want to watch this Edmonton game because I want to be mentally focused for the game I've got to play, and that's against Montreal. And now, defensively for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, are going to face an upset Mike Pringle coming off a poor game last week against Calgary. He's fired up and wants to be playing well heading into the playoffs. And offensively, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have to control the football, but it's a balancing act. They've given it away 64 times. They can't do that in this game, but they have to play to win it.
And I hope this Alouette team really watched the game Friday night because they saw a BC Lions team that, except for that last series in the second quarter, did not play very good football. The Alouettes can't do it. Hey, Winnipeg is going to physically challenge Montreal. Montreal has to really anticipate because if they have any attitude of apathy, Winnipeg's going to win this game. Montreal has 11 wins because they run the football and they control the line of scrimmage. Regardless of whether Winnipeg wins or loses, it doesn't matter. They have to do that in this game tomorrow, James.
All right, when we return, who's going to the Grey Cup? Who's the most outstanding player? The experts make their picks, and Glenn too. Danny McManus, he's got a chance. Damon Allen, perhaps? Or would it be Calvin? Well, it won't be Calvin. He's not nominated. But perhaps it should be. More later.
Hi, this is Mike Bull.
All right, time for the guys to play Kreskin, or at least give their opinions on who they think is going to be the big winner, both team-wise and individual-wise at the end of the season. Of course, the big award individual-wise is the most outstanding player award. So we got all the guys to get together and bang heads and put down their selections. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, the envelope, please. All we needed was the drum roll. Here they are. I'm going with Kelvin Anderson. In fact, 3 of us are, even though he wasn't nominated. Alan Pitts won from his team, but we thought Kelvin Anderson should get it. Danny McManus from the East. Glenn goes with, what? What's your problem? I can see your head.
I love this because the guys in the studio picked a guy who wasn't even nominated.
All right. We'll get to that. You like Damon Allen from the West, Danny Mac from the East. Chris goes with Kelvin Anderson, Danny Mac. I agree totally with him. And Matt Dunnigan goes with Kelvin Anderson. He agrees with Chris and I from the West. Mike O'Shea. Let us bring in Matt Dunnigan, who joins us now from Hamilton. A quarterback picks a linebacker. I'm puzzled.
Hey now, come on. That's the piece of cake this year. This East has been dominated by defense. Mike O'Shea and Calvin Tiggle's a toss-up. I went with O'Shea because he means more to special teams. He's got 5 forced fumbles, 83 tackles on the year. I went with O'Shea, and Tiggle's a close second, maybe the most valuable defensive player. And then I went with the boys too out in the West with Kelvin Anderson. I thought all-purpose yards and what he does for that football team, you take him out, I don't think there's a replacement there.
You know what? I think Matty got hit a little too much when he was playing. He picked a linebacker. I mean, come on. I'm talking about quarterbacks here, Matty. And Damon Allen, I know he's been criticized a lot in BC, but he's put together 13 wins for that football team. I think he's a great nomination out of the West. And Danny McManus, if he makes it to the Grey Cup this year, it'll be 6 times in the 10 years he's played football that he's been in that Grey Cup, and he's won it twice. To me, if the vote happened right now, Danny McManus would be the guy.
All right, now I got to go. Chris Schultz is a brilliant man.
Yes.
Namely because he agreed with me. Kelvin Anderson,
That's right,
Danny
baby.
McManus.
And I really like my Danny McManus pick. Hey, for the last 5 years, he has thrown for 5,000 yards. That's consistency. Right now, the Hamilton Ticats have only given up 7 sacks. That is great blocking, but that's him in his thought process, knowing how to get rid of the football. And the part I really like is he's playing his best football right now. That's focus. I think Danny McManus is the most valuable football player, and I think Calvin Anderson in the West should get a job at it because more than anything else, he has all the phases down. He runs well, he catches the ball well, and if you don't notice it on film, he blocks well too.
You guys, Kelvin Anderson wasn't nominated.
I'm aware of that.
Did you get the memo? Did you get...
Here's the deal. Kelvin Anderson would have won last year if Pringle didn't have such a great year. I think he had an even better year this year. Now, Damon Allen, good year, and probably MVP, but it's not MVP, it's most outstanding player. I think Anderson put up the numbers, but I think Danny Mac will win it. All right, the other big thing, of course, is the team category. I suppose that's the one that they really care about. The Grey Cup picks. Let us see who the guys think is going to the big dance in 3 weeks in BC. I like Calgary to upset the Lions, and I think the Alouettes simply because Hamilton has trouble winning against the Alouettes, and they'll have trouble in Montreal. Glenn likes the 2 favorites. Oh, he pretty popped out on that one. Ooh, go with the guys who got the bye. Be risky. BC and Montreal. Chris likes BC and Hamilton, and Matt, this time Matt's the brilliant one. He agrees with me and takes Calgary, Montreal. Let's bring Matt in again.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
I appreciate it.
You're a very, very brilliant man, Matt. Now, Montreal, I can see them doing that. They won it. They only have 1 game to win. You like Calgary upsetting BC in the Western Final?
Well, I do. I like Calgary's chances. I like what they do. I think they're more of a complete football team. Chris, you and I were talking about it. BC may have the exceptional talent one-on-one, but they're not playing well as a team. That's been shown and evident the last 5 weeks. Hamilton, however, they're 4-5 on the road. Montreal's tough at home. They got to get by Toronto. They'll get beat up in that game. Then they're going to go to road against Montreal. I like Montreal's chances. They're more of a complete football team. So I'm taking the 2 teams, the best teams, I believe, to go to the Grey Cup.
Well, I tell you, I agree with Matty in one instance, and that's with the Calgary situation, because I think they may have the best team, but I think the BC Lions, Matt, have the best talent, and if that talent gets it going in that final, they only have 1 game to win, and they're in the big show. So that's why I like the BC Lions, and I still like the way Damon Allen is playing. And then when you're talking about Montreal, the way they've lost the last 2 in the playoffs in the last second to Hamilton, I think they got it at home now. They're going to win this one.
Well, to me, the logical choice is, there's no doubt about it, are the Montreal Alouettes at home and the Calgary Stampeders. But let's go a little illogical. Damon Allen, in my opinion, is a good pressure player. I think he will come through with one of his best personal performances in that West Final. And I like Ron Lancaster. He has been in this situation many times. He's going to have his team ready to go. The real good football teams are Calgary and Montreal, but I like the underdogs in this one.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank Matt Dunnigan, who we will see a little bit later on, of course. And Matt Dunnigan is going to make the sprint back after the Hamilton game to the studio. We want to put a camera on you and see how you make it.
That's a company helicopter, buddy.
Very, very impressive, my friend. Very impressive. We'll get back to Matt a little bit later on. When we come back, though, we want to get you ready for our game and look in depth at the Ticats and the Stamps. The Ticats with Joe Montfort, who's chasing a record today in the CFL for most sacks. Back with more in a minute. Well, everybody knows this group is really a group of oversized boys, and being boys, we like our toys. And our favorite toy is a little cartoon thing we call Virtual Replay. So today, Chris and I invited Glenn over to play. Here's Virtual Replay.
Virtual Replay, brought to you by Molson Canadian.
Let us check out Danny McManus of the Ticats in the shotgun.
Well, out of this formation, I think this is where Danny McManus is at his personal best. And here he gets some help from Ronald Williams. By formation, he keeps those Argo linebackers honest.
When he gets in the shotgun formation, he gets a chance to scan the defense and decide where he wants to go with the football before he throws it. When he sees Martavius Houston matched up on Darren Flutie, something the Argos never want to have, he knows he's going to see zone defense, and Mike Morreale will be his seam guy.
And on the front side, the line of scrimmage play, hey, the Toronto Argonauts decide to rush 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker. Not a bad move, but the pass blocking is perfect. Here, McManus has plenty of time to spot his receiver. Look at that quick release, right to Mike Morreale.
He knew where he wanted to throw the ball before he received the snap, and then it's just execution. And the quick release of Danny McManus gets it in a real tight spot.
And that is why 3 of us picked Danny McManus to win the CFL's Most Outstanding Player Award. Okay, want to get you back to Hamilton now to get you ready for the game. Here once again are Rod Smith and Matt Dunnigan. Guys?
James, I would think even in this game, Hamilton's motivation has to be pretty clear, Matt, because it is more than 5 years since the Tiger Cats in any game have beaten the Calgary Stampeders, regular season or playoffs. Now, earlier this season, they lost to them in pretty dramatic style. They're kind of used to that. They had a chance to win it near the end.
Yeah, difficult right here. Danny McManus misread the coverage. Great job by Calgary. Greg Fears getting over to have a critical pick right there. Meant so much at that point to try to establish dominance. Danny Mac knows it right there. He's saying, sorry, guys, that was me.
And then, of course, there was the meeting last year in Winnipeg, the Grey Cup.
Last second field goal, Mark McLaughlin. True. Beautiful. Guys celebrating. Shante Peoples there just going nuts. We all remember Rocco Romano. Look at this. They'll remember that for a long time. Calgary gets the ring. Hamilton gets nada.
The Stampeders rule, and they have for a while, as you can see, 10 consecutive games, 2 playoff games. Not only that Grey Cup, but in 1995 they had a Northern Division semifinal meeting, which the Stamps won. Last time Hamilton has beat Calgary goes back to Ivor Wynne, October 16th, 1994. I would think heading into this game, even though the Ticats can improve their standings, there's got to be something in the mindset thinking about playing this Calgary team.
That's right. Although the coaches are calling this a nothing game, I think it's very, very important for the Hamilton Ticats to come out here and try to establish dominance. I think that's a little bit more involved in this game. I think it's a little psychological warfare going on for their team to try to create some confidence going against the Calgary Stampeders.
Ron Lancaster had success against Calgary when he was head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos. Danny McManus knows what it's like to
Danny Mac does too, and he's having a career year. He's closing in on 5,000 yards. He's 65 away from that. He's been nominated for the Most Outstanding Player Award in the East from the Hamilton Club. The guy is setting the precedent. He's taking his play up a level, and I look for them to start continuing to, or start being competitive with the Calgary Stampeders and eliminating that long streak, that ugly streak that's staring him in the face.
Well, McManus 65 yards away. Other individual milestones, Vince Danielson 85 yards away from another 1,000-yard receiving year. And, of course, Joe Montfort didn't get any sacks last week in BC, 2.5 shy of the all-time CFL record. James, back to you.
2.5 tying it, and he needs 3 to break the record today. And that's one of the things. You know, it is a nothing game, so to speak, in terms of the standings, but a lot of personal things on the line. Not just the teams wanting to establish things for the playoffs, but Joe Montfort, that's a big record if he was to get it today, Glenn.
Oh, it's huge, absolutely. And you know, Joe Montfort really wants to get it simply because he wasn't the team's nomination for the defensive player. So that's a little bit more motivation for Joe Montfort. He needs 3. It's going to be a great matchup to watch in this football game. Him against Thomas Ram with Calgary at the tackle position. He flops over. That will be a battle, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
We touched on this a little bit earlier. It's always a coach's quandary to know who to play and how long to play them when guys are banged up and such. How long do you leave your starters in?
Yeah.
Do you play guys at all that are hurt, Chris?
Well, I think one thing we have to be respectful towards is both Wally Buono and Ron Lancaster. Hey, we're talking about two guys that have been in this situation many, many times. It's not like this is new to them. I think it really is an issue in terms of the minor injuries. If you do have a player that's borderline with a tight hamstring or has some swelling in a knee, or there's something about that player that you're not confident that he's going to be able to make it into the playoffs, you seriously have to look at him sitting down for this game to benefit the team. But then on the other side, you want that player to maintain his edge. I think there's a big difference between veteran players and how they approach football games and rookie players. A veteran player, you can sit down because he has that preparation process well ingrained in his mind. And come playoff time, they won't need any pregame speeches. They're all going to be ready, James.
Yeah, and you guys, to me, this is like the priorities is very important for Wally Buono here, because priority number one for both coaches, guys, is that they got to win the football game, because you want to win going into the playoffs. That's number one.
It's important.
Yeah, the second priority is that you got to protect your veteran players and your star players. And if I have Calvin Anderson with a bad ankle, guys, I'm saying I rest him. He's a veteran. He'll be ready to play in that semifinal. And the very same thing goes with Dave Dickinson.
What about you guys? Was it tough? You were both in games like this where it came down to the last game. It didn't mean anything in the standings. Is it hard to get up for it? Is it hard to go in and lay that big hit?
No, because guys are thinking about the playoffs right now. Right now, these guys are saying it's playoff time, and I'm telling you right now, we're getting fired up. You got that playoff mode going, so they really don't feel their injuries. But that's where the coach has to come in, Chris. I really think that that's where Wally has to step in and say, guys, I'm going to pull you out because I need you next week.
And the players have to respond in a positive way. I don't really think it's that hard for players. I think once you get to the stadium, you kind of take a big breath and you're like, okay, here we go again. But I'll tell you what, once you get that first play over, you are into the mode of the game, and you are not thinking about your physical body. You're thinking about how you are playing and how you are competing against the other individual player, and you're very aware of the fact that you're going to review this game on films, and it is very important the players to play individually well.
You never took a week off, did you, Chris?
Oh, every now and then.
All right, a rematch of last year's Grey Cup. It was one of the best Grey Cups ever, and this one perhaps not as much on the line, but both these teams getting ready to try and go back to the Grey Cup game. Wally Buono Stamps taking on the Tabbies. Kickoff is coming up.
Every Sunday last winter.
Well, hi again, everybody. It is the final weekend of the CFL season. James Duthie along with Chris Schultz and our very special guest star, Glenn Suter, who's in for Matt Dunnigan, who's in Hamilton, and will be back a little bit later. Glad to have you with us, Glenn. Now, this game, as we said, a rematch of last year's Grey Cup. And if these two teams were to meet again in the Grey Cup, well, perhaps this game is important. You want to establish something. You want to say, our boys are better than your boys. What does Hamilton have to do today, Chris?
Well, I think they have to keep that momentum. They have scored more points than anybody else in the CFL. I want to see if Danny McManus can move the football against this Calgary defense, because you know what? Then he has the Toronto defense. He gets back that. He's got the Montreal defense. It'll start with this defensive football team, how well Hamilton plays and moves the football, Glenn.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that this can be very important in this game to set a physical tone going into the playoffs. You want to be playing your best physically. You want to be aggressive. You want to be playing great football heading into the playoffs. One of the side stories I think we have to watch here is Mike McCoy. He needs to play well because Dave Dickinson may need some help in that playoff game if his shoulder is not right. Mike McCoy needs some confidence heading in.
All right. Thank you very much, by the way. Now,
Yeah,
get back to your
This is a cushy
Get back
deal,
to your
man.
booth.
I'm getting out of here.
Get out of here. We don't need you.
Go ahead, go
He's
back
on his
to
way
the
down to
stadium.
Skydome for the Argos and the Eskimos a little bit later on. But
Things
first
I
of
gotta
all,
put up with.
we do have the Ticats and the Stamps.
He's leaving.
That is next from Hamilton. Bye, leave.
Go.
Get lost. The Tabbies are ready. Their final regular season game. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Wynn Stadium in Hamilton on a chilly, breezy November afternoon. Rod Smith and Matt Dunnigan here for the final regular season game for Wally Buono's Calgary Stampeders. And Buono, fourth all-time. Now tied with Ray Yock with this win in the final regular season game, can pull into fourth alone. And looking to beat Ron Lancaster, his old friend again.
Ronnie Lancaster knows the most important thing he's got to do today is control how much he does play his players. Key players like Danny McManus, Ronnie Williams, Archie Emerson. So it's going to be very, very important for Ronnie to keep a gauge on this, because actually there is nothing on the line but to keep the continuity and the fluidity of your football clubs going.
And talking about coaching milestones, Lancaster just passed Bob Obilovich recently. He now has 109 career coaching wins, sitting 6th behind Yock and Buono.
Ronnie did tell me before that it's important to let the game dictate how much he does actually play his key players. He wants to remain constant, efficient on offense, move the chains, get some fluidity going, because they got a tough here next week against Toronto.
Right. Well, it was Calgary winning the toss, and wind is a big factor in this day as we look at Paul Osbaldiston. Calgary won the toss but deferred for the second half because of that wind. Hamilton wants the wind in the second quarter, therefore they'll give it to Calgary, and they'll give the Stamps the football as well. Osbaldiston to kick off a very brisk one, as you might have seen earlier, 30 kilometers per hour coming from the west. It'll be blowing from the left to the right. And into that wind, a field goal of 35 to 40 yards could be quite an adventure. The leading scorer in the Canadian Football League, leading Mark McLaughlin. That race could be decided today, among other individual things, in this Week 18 in the CFL season. Both teams playing next week at home. The Stampeders don't yet know who they will play. A short kick into that breeze, and it's taken just inside the 30-yard line by Rock Preston. A flag down right away after his tackle. A 50-yard kick and a 13-yard return.
I think a good indication there of just how strong this wind is. Mike McCoy taking on this team. Hero last week, 12 of 17, 183 yards in the air, 2 fourth quarter touchdown passes.
And a good offensive line up front. They've been together the whole way. Starting lineups brought to you by Midas Car Care, the way it should be. They've been together the whole way, of course, since adding a couple of key elements on the right side, and Fred Childress and Big Thomas Raham, the former Edmonton Eskimo. So down the stretch, that has made a difference up front for the Calgary Stampeders. Mike McCoy has been an excellent sub for Dave Dickinson, and a big comeback win over Montreal last week. Off the shotgun snap, it's bobbled. The Ticats have it. Joe Montford, touchdown.
Oh, just critical for the Ticats to get some points on the board, especially when they're faced into the wind this first quarter. That's devastating. First play of the game, have a mishap like that. Joe Mumford capitalizing on an errant snap. Here it is. A great shot. It's a factor getting the ball in shotgun. You can see the wind just kind of knuckle that ball down by Dickinson's ankles. Mumford's Johnny on the spot. Just an exceptional play by the Hamilton team.
And as you mentioned, very significant because they are going against the wind.
You can see how that ball just kind of knuckleballed down by McCoy's feet. Got by him, and Mumford was right there with quick pressure, I might add.
So Joe Montford, 2.5 sacks shy of the all-time regular season record of tying it with James Quick Parker, is thinking touchdowns right now. We'll leave the sacks till later.
Just what Hamilton wanted. Here's a couple looks at it right here. And watch Mumford come off the edge here in the bottom of your screen. Ball just kind of knuckles down by Mike's legs. He goes down looking for it. Mumford does a good job of batting it forward, which is legal here in the Canadian Football League, and is celebrating. Here's what Mike gets to look at here. There's 2 of the most key defensive players in on the first play for Hamilton. Tiggle and Mumford making it happen. Johnny on the spot.
What a great year for Joe Montford, leading Alfred Payton now by far, 24-15. No one near him in that department.
Just unfortunate what happened last week, getting tossed out early on a controversial call, or else he could have had the record by now. Who knows? But
he was ejected at BC Place for kicking Steve Harden, although a lot of stuff was going on between Mike Campbell and Harden, and Joe Montford was coming to his defense and worried about a knee injury in that play. But some of the Ticats upset that he was ejected, especially so early in the game when he was pursuing a CFL record. And he is fired up on that sideline.
Big Swole, I mean, he's proven it. Look at those guns. I mean, I'm going to point that out to you again. Big Swole.
And explain Swole again.
Swole is number swollen.
Right.
He's got some big arms there that put some hurt on some people.
So Osbaldiston kicking it off again for the second time in about a minute. And Marvin Coleman has the return this time and has some room. Coleman Up near midfield, finally taken down right at the midfield mark. So with the win, the Stamps and McCoy will come back on with some good field position to work to see if they can get back and even the score, down by 7 early.
Ball hanging up in the air again, Rod. I mean, fielded at the 25-yard line. It seemed like the ball was up there forever.
From the 55-yard line.
Hey, folks, if you're sitting at home, you can't understand just how devastating this wind and these conditions can be to a team.
It's an awesome breeze. And talking to Osbaldiston before the game, he was mentioning that. Even a 30-yard field goal against that would be very interesting. Out of the shotgun again, they get right back on the horse and ride. McCoy airs it out for Travis Moore. He's got it at the 20. He was wide open, pushed out of bounds down at the 10. And as he heads down near the end zone. So the Stamps are in business right away on one quick play to Travis Moore.
From the outhouse to the penthouse for Mike McCoy. The first snap ends up in a Tiger Cat touchdown. Then this one, it's a long toss down the sidelines. Just beating Steinhauer up over the top. Travis Moore does the rest down at the 7-yard line. Great turnaround for Calgary.
A gain of 47 yards for Calgary. So automatically in one play, knocking on the door. And they'll work out a shotgun again. Despite the play before that went awry. Into the end zone, McCoy, wide open, touchdown.
It's a great scheme there. Just a couple of quick zoom routes, we call them, to the outside by the receivers. They come in and they snap back outside. Here we got a shot with Mike McCoy. Give you a good idea what he's looking at here. A little half sprint to the left. 2 outside receivers take the 2 corner and a half in the corner out. Easy throw from Mike McCoy. What a way to get back on track.
To Vince Danielson, who is 85 yards shy of another 1,000-yard season. It would be his second. He had 147 yards receiving last week. The season high for the Stampeders, and a pretty good passing team. And chalk up 7 more yards as he gets down to needing 78 now, but gets the 6th, and McLaughlin gets the 7th point to tie this game up. Calgary answers very quickly. First quarter at Ivor Wynn. We have a 7-7 ball game. First of 2 here on CFL Live.
CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Castrol GTX Drive Hard. And by Molson Canadian. Here's where we get Canadian.
On the inside here.
The ball falls off the tee. Mark McLaughlin trying to kick it off in a 7-7 tie and the 7th touchdown this season by Vince Danielson. But for a game that isn't supposed to mean anything, so far it's been played like it means a whole lot. And I'll tell you, the wind and the cold here at Ivor Wynn is just adding to the atmosphere. It's a playoff sort of feeling, even though these teams can't improve in the standings at all, regardless of the outcome. On this return, it's the newcomer, Tony Akins, special teams player of the week on that return, gets it up to the 37.
Let's look at the touchdown right here. Mike McCoy getting on track in a hurry after the horrendous start. We've got, if I can circle right here, we've got Vince Danielson on the inside. Just simply going to sneak through here. On the outside, you can see Pitts and Dowdell run a zoom route, go in, go out. Catches 3 people off guard. Hitchcock doesn't have time to get over. Vince Danielson has an easy touchdown, critical for the Calgary Stampeders to come back.
It was set up by a big 47-yard pass to Travis Moore. Play before. On the handoff, on first down, very short gain up near the 40-yard line. The scoring drive brought to you by Buckacall. Call 101-5566 and save without switching. 2 plays and 55 yards. The Moore catch sets it up, and it's Danielson, an 8-yard catch to reduce that total for 1,000 yards down to 77, what he needs on the day. Gain of 2 for the Tiger Cats, and it's 2nd and 8. Danny McManus out of shotgun. Flag down immediately on the snap. Sets up the screen to Ronald Williams. And he does not have first down yardage. Kevin Johnson in on the tackle, gets it up shy of the 45, well short, but of course pending the outcome of this flag here.
What Hamilton offsides is unfortunate because they had a good positive play to Williams and a screen to the field there, but a great example of how Calgary's going to play in 2nd and long situations. They bring in their nickel personnel.
Decline. Third down.
They bring in their nickel personnel, take out Traversy and bring in an extra defensive back and play soft and play everything underneath, forcing Hamilton to throw the ball underneath. They rally to the football.
Paul Balderson averages over 42 yards, as you can see, but punting into the wind, you'll get a pretty good gauge right now just how stiff that breeze is. You would expect him to try to keep the ball low and see if he can drive it through. The up back for returning is at about the 42 Calgary, not playing it very deep at all. And as expected, it is not very far. Gets a good Hamilton roll, though, for Rock Preston to pick up. A flag down for no yards, and he is taken out of bounds at the Calgary 30. 38-yard punt, 3-yard return, flag down for no yards. This is CFL Live on TSN. He's been defensive coordinator for both the Calgary Stampeders and, of course, the Ticats. Don Southern has a good unit to work with here this year, Matt.
He certainly does. And this unit up front, great addition. And Tim Terry from Temple University really, and then you got Tiggle in the middle, one of the best in the league this year so far. Hitchcock having a career year, I believe, and Frank West, the new man on the corner.
West back in, had to miss the last 4 games with injury. A key addition as they get set for the playoffs. Out of the shotgun, little quick handoff there to Kelvin Anderson, who gets about 4 yards.
Anderson, the ball carrier. Montford on the tackle.
Joe Montford with the Hamilton touchdown, if you're just joining us, right on the first play from scrimmage of the game. And has forced 7 fumbles this season to lead the Canadian Football League, but just took advantage of a bad snap and ran it in for the touchdown.
7 fumbles, 7 fumbles is a career for some people, let alone one season.
And how about 24 sacks in a season?
Yeah.
Which he has coming into this game. James Quick Parker with the record. 26 and a half. Speaking of which, Lamar McGriggs with big-time pressure on McCoy and buries him.
Well, they're going to get McGriggs for offsides. Here's a little overzealous coming off the edge. So this is not going to count. You can see Lamar, he's coming. He's on the right of your screen.
Number 45, second down and 2.
Let's see if I can get it. Here's Lamar right here to the right of your screen. Down to the bottom right here. Just a little premature on movement there. You can see it. And then his speed is unbelievable getting to the quarterback. Mike McCoy didn't have time to breathe.
So with the penalty, it becomes 2nd and 2 for the Stamps. McCoy still working out of the shotgun. And another flag down. This time it looked like early movement for the Stampeders. Vince Danielson with the ball, and easily a first down and more across midfield and down to the Hamilton 45. They're discussing it, and I believe it will be coming back.
Okay.
Offside, Calgary, number 83, second down repeated.
Travis Moore.
Watch where it happens. Right here in the middle. You got your umpire right here. Sometimes these guys get in the way and they don't want to be. Believe me, Calvin Tiggle flattens him, and Vince Danielson gets a nice pick there and is able to turn it up, but unfortunately it's called back to the Stamps. Got a taste of what 100 other people in the league have gotten a taste of this year, getting hit by Calvin Tiggle.
And the officials have to get set for the playoffs as well. Maybe conscious as these teams are of getting some injuries just before the big dance. And the crowd really getting stirred up now on 2nd down and 7. McCoy to pass again. Under pressure, they've got him. Guess who? Joe Montford. Put another one on the tab.
Boy, thank Don Southern's defensive secondary. It's a coverage sack here. Joe Montford getting her done. Great scheme up front, but this happened in the secondary. Right here, McCoy, little half roll to his right. Montford with a spin move. And then he just hustles the quarterback, picks up number 25 in the year.
Number 25, 1.5 shy. So another 2, and he's the all-time single-season leader. Nice punt with the win. Tony Martina taken down at the 33. Tony Akins with it. At the far side, he is taken out at the Hamilton 40. With a 48-yard punt and an 8-yard return. There's some more big defense for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and Joe Montford has certainly figured in on that.
1st and 10 from the 40.
On comes Danny McManus. Approaching 5,000 yards, 65 yards away from it coming into this game. And a good stable of receivers, including Corey Grant, who is the rookie nominee from the Ticats. And up front, an offensive line that's been together since week 2, led by the veteran Carl Coulter and Dave Hack at right tackle. This one for Morreale. Good coverage there by Eric Sutton. And it goes incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
Intended for Morreale. Broken up by Sutton.
Up front, they get great addition from Pittsburgh. First-year player gunning the defensive line. Kevin Johnson's been doing it for Alondra Johnson all year long. 2 great corners, Hampton and Coleman off the edge. Greg Fears, a veteran free safety in for the Calgary club.
Frears with a big interception, as Matt had pointed out earlier. You look at Mark Gunn, some NFL experience, some World League, and anchoring them up and inside. But Frears with the interception, McManus, that sealed the fate of the Ticats the last time these two played. What a nice catch! And a lot more for Andrew Gregg. Big 1st down Ticats to the Calgary 36.
McManus is passed to Danny Gregg. Tiger Cat 1st down.
Gain of 34 yards. McManus to Gregg.
Here's what Danny McManus sees. He's just sitting in a pocket there. Calgary's timing on bringing some pressure was just a little off. It gave Danny McManus time to find Andrew Gregg, who's been there for him all season long. Nobody hindering his throwing motion at all. Nobody in his face. Perfect line of vision for Danny McManus.
Gregg's had a good year, nearly 800 yards receiving coming in. Another reception. This one to the slot back, Mike Morreale. They go to him again, and it gets them inside the Stampeder 15. Another 1st down.
They're really picking on Sutton right here. He made a good play last series, and they're coming right back here. They go right back to him. Danny McManus' timing on this. He threw that ball when Morreale was waggling towards the line of scrimmage, it seemed like.
The outstanding Canadian in 1998, Mike Morreale, has had some injuries to deal with this year, and not as productive a season, but one of the many threats for these Tiger Cats. In the early going here at Ivor Wynn, McManus, end zone for Morreale. The coverage is there like a blanket. Marvin Coleman, Morreale's upset. He wants a call. No flags are down. Morreale still steamed about it as he heads back to the huddle.
Great call here because Danny McManus anticipating pressure, gets a great matchup. Morreale's a tall receiver, 6'2", 6'3", going up against Coleman on the edge, who's nothing but 5'10". So it's a great matchup. Ball just kind of hung up in there, and Coleman was able to make the play.
So it's 2nd and 10. Out of the shotgun, McManus. Went end zone last time, over the middle for Morreale, and it just goes off one hand and falls incomplete. So it'll be a field goal try coming on. Paul Osbaldiston will head into position, and they'll see if they can tack on 3 more.
Kellogg got his long arms up over the top there and was able to deflect it out of the way. Just great job of him blanking the receiver there. Just kind of call that a little under route. The receiver goes up and then snaps it underneath and tries to get a quick throw from the quarterback. Just off just a little bit there.
There's Ozzie. Looking to tack on 3 more. On a windy day last November, he had a big kick that put the Ticats into the Grey Cup. This one from 21 yards, where it's spotted. And even against that wind, that's still a chip shot for Osbaldiston. Up and in. 3 more on the board for the Ticats. They take the lead back. It's Ticats 10, Stampeders 7 on CFL Live in the 1st. There's no question Wally Buono has been the CFL's head coach of the 97 first place finishes. Matt, what are the keys for the Stamps in this one?
Well, they've got to score early, but we didn't see that happen, did we? Hamilton kind of turned his tables on him right there. And they got to run Kelvin Anderson 9 times when he's gone over 100 yards in his career. They've won football games. And don't give up the big plays. Don't give up those long throws to Andrew Gregg like we saw right there. If they can eliminate that, they'll be in good shape.
Osbaldiston kicking it off. This one higher and gets hung up in the wind. Once again, the Stamps. Oh, they let it bounce. It stayed in. Now they had to just get on the ball, of course. Everybody's eligible. The Calgary return man, assuming it would bounce out of bounds and they'd get the penalty, did not. It stayed in. So it ends up being a 50-yard kickoff. Marvin Coleman making the mistake there, just guessing on where the ball would bounce.
He's one of the best returners on in those situations, but it just goes to show you folks sitting at home and you can't see this wind plays such a big factor in decision making. You know, the bounce of the football, how much it hangs up in the air, it really becomes a factor here.
Under 7 minutes now, past the midway point of quarter number 1 here at Ivor Wynn. The handoff to Kelvin Anderson. He busts his way loose. 1,000 yards plus again this year for Kelvin Anderson, the 4th straight year, tying a record for Anderson. 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and he's had 4 years in the CFL. He has done it all in his rookie year. Doesn't know anything but 1,000 yards, and this one, well, close to his best, which was in '98, but he's just had a remarkable run of it. Rookie of the year in the CFL in 1996. And some feel should be up for the award for MVP this time, but he's got a teammate by the name of Alan Pitts, who is Calgary's nominee. And on that one, Anderson has the ball again and gets a first down for the Stampeders. They only needed 1.
That's 2 plays in a row that we've seen Mumford and Hitchcock in on the tackles. It's not a good sign for Hamilton when your free safety's having to make the tackles play after play. But I'm one of those guys, Rod, that believe that Kelvin Anderson should have gotten the nomination there, because you take him out of the backfield and the Calgary Stampeders aren't the same football team.
Well, it's interesting seeing Wally Buono yesterday in front of the media. He was campaigning pretty hard for Alan Pitts, hoping Pitts gets that recognition. Wide open again. Caught out of bounds with a flag. Travis Moore on the receiving end. What would be an easy first down across midfield for the Stampeders.
Stampeders got a star-studded offensive line. See a good shot of those guys there working. Travis Moore having a big year. There's an end zone shot. McCoy just laying it up. This is tough to do when you got the wind at your back to gauge how far you got to throw the football. Great concentration, getting both feet in bounds there. Just a super job of just pulling that in.
And Orlando Steinhauer penalized on the play, so it does stand, and a good job catching the football while fighting the sun, a gain of 24. A couple of big catches for Moore already, 2 for 71 yards. Play action fake. McCoy throws it low for Danielson, incomplete. It'll be second down.
McCoy's pass intended for Danielson.
Just talking about the offensive line for Calgary, they've got a star-studded line with Chodas and Ram and Crysdale, and Romano is... Here's Rocco. Right here on the end of your line of scrimmage. Right here. See if I can get him for you. There he is. Working on Tim Terry. Look at him keeping his hands extended, taking that punishment, keeping his feet, moving his feet, constantly working to stay in front of Tim Terry. Not an easy task, but he's been doing it all year.
And he is the Stamps nominee for top offensive lineman. McCoy to throw again. Wide open again is Alan Pitts. He's got it. Looking for the end zone. He can waltz right in, which he does. Touchdown Stampeders. Put another one on the board for Pitts, the all-time touchdown leader.
Alan Pitts saying, there you go. Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz, James Duthie, take that. I am the most valuable player on this Calgary football team, and I deserve that nomination for outstanding player. And here he proves why. McCoy throws a wide open. Toughest thing to do here is not complete the ball. Look how open it is, just a wide open coverage. It's a breaking coverage there. And then a nice little move on Shelling to get in the end zone. That's an embarrassing play there for the Hamilton club that was just set on coming out here shutting down this Calgary receiving corps.
9 touchdowns on the season for Alan Pitts, who broke 100 in his career quite a while ago. Far and away, all time in that department. In receiving touchdowns, it's converted by McLaughlin. And some big plays for Pitts and the Stamps, but I mentioned Wally Buono, Matt, yesterday, pointing out that Alan Pitts really hasn't had a chance to be recognized as the top player in the CFL because he's been in a decade with Doug Flutie, who's won it 6 times, and Mike Pringle, who's won it the other two. Back in 1990, it was Mike Pinball Clemens, but the 90s really ruled by Flutie. And what Buono points out is Alan Pitts this year, compared to catching passes from Flutie or Jeff Garcia, has had to get used to 3 quarterbacks. Remember, Henry Burris was in there as well. So Wally certainly would like to see his player get some recognition.
Hey, deservingly so. 92 catches, 1,349 yards. But the thing that strikes me is he's only had 8 touchdown receptions this year, and he's had better years as far as that production and scoring goes, and I think that's where I had a problem with voting him, or not voting him, but just choosing him as the most outstanding player. And I like Calvin Anderson's production because he is doing it, receiving the ball, running the ball on kickoff returns. So I think it's fun to talk about. I mean, I know y'all are talking about it at home, and we're talking about it in the studio all the time, and that's one of the big discussions, whether or not a guy should be based on his career or this year and how they do it, who actually ends up getting the votes.
As we look at the scoring drive, once again brought to you by Bucket Call, but there'll be no controversy when it comes to the Hall of Fame vote for Alan Pitts, the leader in receiving yardage in CFL history and second in receptions. On the return, it's Tony Akins again with a flag down after he goes down at the Hamilton 23.
Kick fielded by Akins.
A 13-yard return by Akins. And a holding call will go against the Ticats and negate that.
Pushing back even further. They got a long way to go in this win.
And still 4.5 minutes left.
Hamilton, number 18, first down.
Mike Morreale called for that holding penalty, but still 4.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter, where the wind is so prominent. And at this time of year in Hamilton, it could be prominent again next week when the Toronto Argonauts come to town for Lancaster and company. And talk about a great Canadian matchup. The Ticats and the Argos have not met in the playoffs, Matt, since 1987. Been a long drought for 2 great rivals, and that meeting has been predetermined. Taking the handoff as McManus rolling out, finds a man. It's completed up there to Archie Amerson. A pickup of about 5 yards. What's important for the Ticats in this game?
Well, not only is it important for them to move the ball out of their zone right now, but their keys for this football game are simply this. They've got to take away Pitts and Danielson. They haven't been able to do that. They've already been burned by them today. They've got to protect the rock, the pigskin. 6 turnovers last week against BC. They can't afford to turn the ball over. And then they've got to put pressure. They've got to beat the pressure defense of Calgary, as we saw down in the red zone down there, trying to get the score, put the ball in the end zone. They were able to get the protection. Danny Mack is so elusive, only been sacked 7 times this year, and that's going to be critical for them to beat the pressure D of Calgary when they cross the midfield.
Well, Calgary got some good pressure on the rush there. Kevin Johnson in on that tackle, and Ronald Williams didn't exactly like it. He had some words afterwards, but it is forced the Ticats into a punting situation. Into the wind, Osbaldiston, down around his 2. And this will be quite the turn of events, because Calgary returners, Coleman, Preston, they're going back no further than the Hamilton 50.
That's why it's critical to get the ball out of here and move the chains, but they weren't able to get it done. Now Calgary's going to have a chance to score again with the wind at their back.
Low driving punt, not bad with the bounce to about the 47. Preston with it. And just tries to add a couple of more to that total, in good field position to start with for McCoy and the Stampeders. 31-yard punt into that win and a 3-yard return. We'll be back after this. Your favorite to Rock Preston in for Kelvin Anderson, and he takes it on first down inside the Tiger Cat 40-yard line. Calgary with the wind and with the ball and with a 4-point lead here as we get down to under 3 minutes until quarter time.
A word on Rock Preston from Florida State. This young man is the best player on Calgary's offense in space, meaning that if he's one-on-one open field on conditions like we have here today, this turf, he's most difficult guy to tackle.
And remember, Kelvin Anderson is a little bit wounded there, that an ankle injury, so it is nice for Buono to be able to put him in, especially in this type of game. And there's Preston doing something else, catching the football and picking up a Calgary first down to the Ticat 30.
Perfect example of what I'm talking about. Rock Preston getting her done in open space. We got Calvin Tiggle, 100 tackles this year, one of the purest tacklers in the league. And this is what Preston makes him do. Makes him miss an open field and picks up a critical first down for Calgary.
Not too many have been able to do that to Calvin Tiggle this year. You're right. Tiggle, the Hamilton nominee, top defensive player, and this is a defense that already has Joe Montford. The great year Tiggle's had. It's dumped off, and that time for Preston. He can't hang on to it. Falls incomplete. Calvin Tiggle, I'm talking to the great Russ Jackson, who could certainly understand linebackers, a radio analyst with the Ticats, but talked about Tiggle's days in Toronto, how he wasn't as good at covering the pass, and he feels that's the way he's really developed now. He's always been great making tackles, but he thinks his overall game is even better now.
Yeah, I think he's a no-brainer to win this category in the East, too. And, you know, he's got up against some stiff competition, but experience is a factor there. He's understanding the game more, puts himself in better situations.
Out of the shotgun, McCoy to throw. It's low. And had it been higher, it might have been picked off, actually, so probably just as well. On second down, it'll be third now, and with that wind, this will almost seem, from a distance point of view, like a chip shot for Mark McLaughlin coming in. Be about a 37-yarder.
Watching him prior to the game, he was kicking 55-yarders, just tapping it with the wind at his back here, and was clearing the uprights by about 15 yards. I asked him if he could have made that 63-yarder last night in BC Place. He said, yeah, come on. He said, no problem.
And had it been made, well, they'd have a week off, these Calgary Stampeders would have. Paul McCallum missed one, I believe, from 44, and then he had another one from 63 right at the end of the game. But Saskatchewan could have beaten BC. That would have given Calgary a chance for first. Well, this thing not only clears the upright, but it just keeps going and going. 3 more on the board for Calgary, increasing the lead to a converted touchdown, 17-10.
37-yard field goal is good.
So overall, if you discount the mistake at the beginning that cost Calgary a touchdown, Matt, Wally Buono must in general like what he sees.
Certainly does, and it's so important for Danny to try to sustain and chew up the rest of the 49 seconds here so they don't have to punt into the wind. They want to pick up a first down here so they can at least punt the wind at their backs in the worst case scenario.
65 yards exactly for McManus and 5,000. He already had the Ticats single-season passing record, and the first one since Doug Flutie a couple of years ago in the CFL to go over 5,000. That one nearly intercepted. Frustrated Jack Kellogg right there. It was good coverage on Mike Morreale. And a flag is down in the Hamilton backfield.
Going to get hacked. We're getting up in the face mask of Anderson, number 92. Seems like David Hack, the nominee for the offensive lineman for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, is always getting into problems with other people on opposing teams.
He certainly did with Alfred Payton earlier in the year in Montreal.
Major foul, face mask, Hamilton, number 68. Second down.
I don't know if he and Alfred Payton exchanged Christmas cards, but Hack has that reputation, also a reputation of being a good offensive lineman.
Yeah, right at the top of your screen, you see Hack going at it. And right here, he gets his hand up in Steve Anderson's face. Referee's right on top of that one. You can see his hand right here, folks. Let me see if I can get it for you. Right in that area. He's got a good grab of it there.
Passing completed. It's Morreale. But after the penalty, of course, nowhere near first down yardage, so they do accomplish one thing, though. They will punt with the wind because there are zeros on the clock with 27 points put on the board. 17-10 Calgary over Morreale and the Ticats. This is CFL Live on TSN.
You're watching the CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by Toyota Canada and its dealers.
You know, both of these teams will have to go on the road to get to the Grey Cup. But if you look at the last month or so, and even the first quarter here, really, Calgary and Hamilton are playing better football than the 2 first-place teams, Montreal and BC. Evidence today, and a good start, especially for Hamilton.
Oh, a nice start for Hamilton. I mean, one of the issues going into this game was both of these teams, how focused will they be? Watch this play. Joe Montford, by every stretch of the imagination, is ready to play football. He just takes off. He finds the play, finds the quarterback, recognizes the football, makes the play. You know, if they weren't ready, you wouldn't see that level of hustle. It's easy for me to read that both these teams want to play football today, James.
Now, the quarterbacks, Hamilton got off to a good start with Montfort, but then the quarterbacks, Calgary really took over. McCoy was sharp, McManus was sharp, both of them very sharp, especially considering the wind.
You know what is interesting about the whole quarterbacks is the good quarterbacks, they just understand that window of opportunity, the separation from the defensive back and the wide receiver, and then they have faith in their arm that they can deliver that football to that receiver before that defensive back has his opportunity to tip it or intercept it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it takes guts to play that style of football. That's Danny McManus, James.
Now remember, we are only really a quarter of the way through our day of football here on TSN. When this one is done, we've got doubleheader action for you. The Eskimos taking on the Argos. Eskimos win, and they are in the playoffs. Could this also be Pinball's last game at Skydome? 7:30 Eastern, Eskimos and the Argos. For now, let us send you back to Hamilton.
And the first quarter stats are brought to you by Castrol GTX. Drive hard. Stats, as you can clearly see, Matt, favor the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, right here. This is 3 yards rushing. That's have a little problem with telestrator there, but 3 yards rushing is not going to cut it. But that's, I think, an indication. And 70 yards passing is an indication that they were going against the wind. Total yards there, 151 to 73. I think that's just what you're going to see. Now, Hamilton's got the win at their back. This is when they must score points.
And we see Dave Dickinson before Mike McCoy with his helmet off. Dickinson had his on and looked warmed up and ready to go in. So it looks like the Stamps, as Wally Buono had mentioned to you, Matt, before the game, will be getting Dickinson some time.
It's a smart move, too, because he's going to use Dickinson going into the wind, where he can use his experience and chewing up the clock and utilizing people a little bit differently than maybe the less experienced quarterback in Mike McCoy. Gave Mike McCoy the win, let him have some success with it at his back. I think a great move by Wally Buono.
Well, Hamilton has to punt, but as Matt alluded to before, success from the standpoint of waiting long enough to punt it with the wind. We should see a different Osbaldiston, but it's partially blocked. So a short punt. The Stamps got their hands on it, and it's rolling around. And now they pick it up for a short return. It was Cameron Legault getting in. And a 29-yard punt as a result, partially blocked by Legault. So the Stamps, even against the wind, have got themselves in good field position.
Field position in these conditions, I can't say it enough. We're talking about it all day long. Very important. Here's a look at it. So it's coming in Ozzy's face. Just barely gets it up. Legault is right there. Gets a tip ball. Beautiful special teams play.
So Dickinson is in, and he hands off to Kelvin Anderson, who has room, finds a nice hole, and picks up nearly first down yardage, it might be, based on his forward progress before he was taken down. By Orlando Steinhauer. The sticks indeed will be moving.
Well, we talked about it, Rod. Whenever Calvin goes over 100, Calgary's undefeated. They're 9-0. What a great way to chew up the clock and follow those big guys. That time they chose to go behind McNeil and Romano. And then on the other side, not a bad choice to go behind Childress and T. Ram.
Anderson third in rushing, but first in combined yardage heading into this week in the CFL. Passing is Dickinson, completing it to Anderson. There's the combined yardage thing. He runs well, he receives well, and he gets near another Calgary first down. That's close to 10 yards.
It's like an Archie Emerson. Yeah, you know, identical almost backs there, capable of running the football, controlling the game from behind the center, and then also out in open space there in formation and pass routes, catching the ball, matchups on linebackers. That's why he's so valuable to this Calgary football team.
As Emerson is certainly to the Ticats. Had to miss a chunk of this season with injury, but it's a big part for Hamilton heading into the playoffs. The handoff with a flag down right at the line of scrimmage. And a very short gain, if a gain at all, for Anderson. He needed a yard for a Calgary first down.
This is why everybody thinks that Calvin Tiggle's a runaway for the Hamilton Tiger-Cat. Most outstanding player. He reads it pre-snap, gets there, catches Calvin Anderson in, stuffs it. He's sure on the tackle this time, folks. Calvin Tiggle getting her done for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
However, the offside is called against Mike Philbrick, so the chains will move another first down by penalty for Calgary.
Talked to Philbrick yesterday. He said, hey, you know, how's your groin? He says, groin's way down the list. I got about 4 or 5 other injuries that are bothering me now.
And he's out there playing. Out of the shotgun, Dickinson gets it away. That one falls down incomplete. And so it'll be second down, Calgary.
It's like Mike Campbell got a hand up in the air, deflected that ball. So important for defensive linemen. They can't get to the quarterback. Get your hands up. Disrupt the quarterback's vision. And you never know. A tip ball, you work on it all the time. Tip ball drill, get a deflection, and it's an interception. It's a perfect job of a veteran defensive lineman getting his hands up, creating something.
Second and 10. Backfield clear. Out of the shotgun, Dickinson running around. Has a man who is hit hard. That man is Alan Pitts, and he hung on to the football. He took a licking.
Dickinson's pass complete to Pitts.
Charles Schelling providing the physical aspect of this game on Alan Pitts.
Schelling, he remembers that little coy move that Pitts put on him for the long touchdown last quarter. And he says, yeah, I remember, Alan. You'll remember this. And he staples him to the turf with the timely hit.
If he was hit any harder, he might not remember. But he does hang on to the ball, and it is 3rd and 1, and here we go. Stamps with a 7-point lead. Instead of the field goal, the thinking first down. Why not? Dickinson gets away from a man. That was Montford. He looks into the end zone. Oh, it's caught. What a catch. Run. Alan Pitts. He seems fine.
That was unbelievable concentration.
Pass complete to Pitts.
Alan Pitts making a circus catch here in the end zone. Great job by Dickinson here, buying time. Who's the guy chasing him? No other than Joe Mumford, 53. He ducks him, he ducks and chucks. And then Pitts gets one hand on it, another hand on it. It's up in the air, he's still concentrating, splits his legs, looks like MJ up in the air. Major score for the Calgary Stampeders.
Alan Pitts has now 111 career touchdown receptions. If that isn't the one for the highlight reel, I don't know what is. 2 touchdowns in this game, and that one will be played back more than a few times throughout the week, I am sure. So Calgary goes for it on 3rd down. Why not? Especially when you got this guy to throw to, right? CFL Live on TSN.
So, Wade, what's next in your quest for points?
Another touchdown for Alan Pitts, and one prettier than you will ever see. Remarkable work, Matt.
Dave Dickinson just realizing what he has out there. Future Hall of Famer, no question. Alan Pitts, he just gives it. He doesn't have a throw here. He just simply throws it up and lets the exceptional talent of Alan Pitts do the rest. And as we see there, he does it like nobody else.
Alan Pitts. And we have a feature on Sports Desk, the highlight of the night. We have the plays of the week, and I get a feeling that that's an early nominee for Calgary, leading 24-10 here in the first half. And on a shorter kick, the return by Archie Amerson. The scoring drive brought to you by Buckacall. 5 plays, 48 yards, taking 3.5 minutes, but it was Pitts on a 3rd and 1, by the way, that finishes it off. And I want to ask you, Matt, if this game meant more than it does, do you think Wally Buono goes for it on 3rd and 1 when they were blatantly, even against the wind, in field goal range?
Against the wind, 3rd and 1. Well, that's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. When you got Alan Pitts out there playing like he is, you know, you don't get many chances to put majors on the board. I think you might go for it there.
Well, there's no second guessing it the way it turned out. That one is complete. Ronald Williams up across the 40 on first down for the Ticats, a short gain.
It may seem like a simple throw, but it's well executed. Danny McManus throwing with timing, and as you can see right at the end of the play, Ronald Williams attacks back to the football, and it's a great just coaching point for kids back home watching the game. Come back to the football, attack, be aggressive back to the ball, take it out of the air. And that's exactly what Ron Williams does there.
2nd and 6 for the Tiger Cats. Just over 10 minutes to go until halftime. That one's batted away and nearly picked off by the safety, Greg Frears. He was probably surprised to see it come his way after it got redirected. And it falls down to the carpet, so it'll be 3rd down.
McManus's pass tipped incomplete.
This is exactly what Wally Buono was talking prior to the game. If you can't get to Danny Mack, which they don't expect to, get your hands up, disrupt his throwing lanes, his vision. Greg Frears was a little surprised there. I know our man Glenn Suter would have had that one in his day. But that's a great job of the D-line, getting their hands up, making something happen defensively.
Osbaldiston, a low average. Those punts, all of them but one coming against the wind, and the one he had with the wind was partially blocked. This is a beauty. Chases Calgary back inside the 15. Easily Osbaldiston's best punt of the day, and the return gets up just across the 20-yard line by Marvin Coleman, a 51-yarder for Ozzie, and a 7-yard return. Stamps with a 14-point lead in the 2nd quarter. Calgary leads Hamilton 24-10 with 9:43 to go until halftime. And the Stampeders have won 10 straight if you count a couple of playoff games. The dominance, it would appear, is continuing so far. Remember, one of Hamilton's touchdowns, its only touchdown, came on a turnover right away. The hand up on 1st down goes to Kelvin Anderson.
Anderson, the ball carrier. Taylor Cummings on the
Rocco Romano.
The war continues with Tim Terry, the young man from Temple. Rocco from Concordia in his 13th year in the Canadian Football League. They're having a heck of a battle here. You can see him power driving him here, just run blocking. Gives the offensive lineman a chance to tee off on the D lineman. Whereas the play we highlighted before, he was taking most of the punishment himself. But that time he got to dish it out.
Still remember him riding the horse last year with the Grey Cup win in Winnipeg in the celebration. Dickinson complete to Alan Pitts, who's having a very busy afternoon, as it would turn out. Couple of touchdown catches.
He's got all day long to throw the football here, which is key going into the win. Watch Rocco Romano, the man of the hour, on Mumford.
1st and 10 Calgary.
The sack leader still, he just stymies him. Just puts his arms out there, stymies him. He outweighs Mumford by a good 40, 50 pounds. He uses that to his advantage. He plants his feet. He's got good base underneath him and stymies the best pass rusher in the league.
Couple of good ones going toe-to-toe there. Anderson takes it on 1st down and picks up a couple. So Kelvin Anderson staying in this game. We talked about he had a few bumps and bruises, and at this time of year, Matt, a lot of players do.
Yeah.
But
if you don't have one, Rod, at this time of year, 3 or 4 or 5 of them, then you haven't been playing. It's just that time of year, you play with pain, you play with injury. I know our guys back in the studio, even Duffy knows about that.
Well, Duffy has a sore throat, I hear. But he's playing through it. You know, mine's getting a little scratchy too, but you know, you're inspiring me. I'm feeling ready today. I know James is too. Over the middle, complete again. Up near midfield, it's 18. Have we seen him before? 5 catches over 100 yards now for Alan Pitts.
This is why Dickinson is in right now against the wind. He stands in there, who reads the defense, and just delivers a strike to Alan Pitts. That's 2 critical 2nd and long situations they converted on here going into the wind.
1st and 10 from the 52.
That's beautiful.
Well, Dave Dickinson looks sharp. He has a bruised right shoulder that made him a doubtful starter, and Mike McCoy got the start. Dickinson looks good. He hands off to Kelvin Anderson, who gains about 10 yards sideways as he runs it out of bounds. It'll be a loss of 2 for Calgary on that.
Who was tracking him there? Calvin Tiggle chasing Kelvin Anderson, 2 of the league's best there, folks, going at it, earning the money. It was a great look, going sideline to sideline. Calvin just run out of room, and Calvin's thankful because he was having a hard time catching up there.
So Calvin on Kelvin.
Look at those eyes there on Calvin Tiggle.
The intensity at 2nd and 12. Make it 13. Stamps at their 49. Early movement and a flag down. Montford looks to be offside unless he was drawn. And the coverage is good on the reception. A short gain anyway, back to the original line of scrimmage for Kelvin Anderson. But I believe this penalty will go against Hamilton, unless Montford was drawn offside.
He's trying to get closer to that
Offside,
record.
Hamilton, number 53. Second down, repeat it.
Well, that's a good point. He's a sack and a half away now.
He's the far right of your screen right here. 53 standing up in a 2-point stance. Looks like Bruni Surin coming off the line there.
Quick out of the blocks. So there was a completion. It's second down and 9 with the penalty, excuse me. And Dickinson throwing again. It's complete. No, out of bounds. So Calgary will have to punt against the wind.
Oh. Dave knows he threw a strike there, and Travis Moore 9 times out of 10 would have come up with this catch. A critical passing catch there that was not completed. Into the wind, you got to have those. Dickinson threw a strike there. That's a tough ball. From the when you throw from the middle of the field to the sidelines, the wind affects the ball even more. He put that right on the money.
Tony Martino. The Calgary 40. Gets a nice one away against the wind. Take it inside the 20. And not much more. After a punt of 38 yards, Tony Akins, 4 on the return. CFL Live on TSN. A week from tomorrow, the Hamilton Tiger Cats will host their dreaded rival, the Toronto Argonauts. The first playoff meeting together since 1987. You can get a ticket. 800-714-ROAR. That's 7627. And you can also enjoy the hot tub too, right? Grey Cup tickets in Vancouver. I'm sure the sales will pick up even more. Over 30,000 sold now, and that's the number to get in on that. BC Lions clinching a bye into the Western Final last night. Passing is McManus. And catching the rookie Corey Grant, Hamilton's nominee for Rookie of the Year, with his first reception of this game.
Dave Hack, Hamilton's nominee for Offensive Lineman of the Year, getting beat by a veteran defensive lineman himself. Steve Anderson coming off the edge, putting pressure on Danny McManus, something we haven't seen much of this year.
Hamilton on the verge of history in terms of sacks allowed. McManus only sacked 6 times this year. The offensive line's allowed only 7. That's remarkable. On pace for a CFL record. What a nice catch over the middle. Archie Amerson. And a first down for the Tiger Cats up to the 47.
McManus' pass complete to Archie Amerson.
Here's Hack. We've been showing you Romano. Let's look at Dave Hack. Great job of staying in front of Steve Anderson. Gets a little help from Ron Williams. Ron knows, hey, he beat us pretty bad last time. I'm going to be looking for some help this time. And came over, but Hack didn't need any help. He had great position on that play.
McManus at a shotgun quickly over the middle to his favorite, Darren Flutie. There's a name we haven't mentioned this afternoon with another first down for the Tiger Cats. They're quickly on the move here with the wind late in this first half.
Another Tiger Cat first down.
Well, here's comes Flutie. Just a simple, just an in pattern. Call this a 7 or a dig. Danny Mac, quick release, of course, puts it on the money. Darren Flutie doing it again. They need to do it in a hurry here to put some points on the board when they have the wind at their back here in a long quarter.
Quickly going to work again, and that one heads out of bounds, incomplete. So it'll be second down. McManus and Flutie, though, Matt, they have combined burn Calgary before. McManus with BC, of course, and Edmonton later, but not a bad outing so far in this one.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all they've done is throw the ball 15 times. We haven't seen much running from Hamilton at all, and this is why you have such a discrepancy in time of possession. Calgary with 15 minutes and 42 seconds of possession. Hamilton only 8:34. I want to get back to that after this play.
It's a big difference so far in the Stamps' favor. Hamilton has been on the move. They hand off to Ronald Williams, who's going nowhere, so they were on the move. They're in a punting situation now, and Williams is not getting up. But a critical player for that Ticat offense as well. This is not a comfortable sight.
It's going to hamper the running game even more if this guy goes down, and that's why I chose the Montreal club out of the East and the Calgary team out of the West. Here's a look at Ronnie Williams right here. It's just a simple draw play. Just looked like he got rolled up on there. Looked like his left ankle got rolled up on by Kevin Johnson, the rookie, who's been doing a great job for the Stampeders, filling in for All-Pro Alondra Johnson. I hope it's not too serious, because this is a coach's worst nightmare right now, is getting one of your key players hurt in a game like this that has no bearing on the outcome of the final standings.
Ronald Williams remains down. We'll take a quick break. This is CFL Live on TSN. Back, and looks like Ronald Williams is as well as he walks off on his own steam. He threw his helmet. He is obviously quite upset, and understandable, especially the ramifications if it's an injury that'll carry forward into the playoffs. 1,000-yard rusher and top 5 in the CFL in that department, and a very valuable asset for that Tiger Cat offense. Low snap. Crosbaldiston on this punt. Still gets a good one into the end zone. No problem at all as it goes past the dead ball line and hits the wall back there. An easy one on the board for the Ticats with a 70-yard punt with the win. You really see the difference in special teams this kicking game for both teams. So make it a 24-11 ball game now for Calgary, with a 3-minute warning coming out. 2:54 on the clock. Ticats had hoped to do a little more with that win. It's Calgary still leading. We'll be back. Less than 3 minutes from now, we'll head to CFL. Canadian Airlines at the half with James Duthie and Chris Schultz. Looks like they whited out Matt Dunnigan in the middle there. Looks like a head could have been there, but of course he's here, and he'll be there for the second game of our doubleheader, heading back to studio after this one here in Hamilton. Ronald Williams injured, and the previous set of downs for the Ticats trying to walk it off, but you can still he's still favoring that leg.
Got to change a quarterback. Looks like we've got McCoy in there.
Mike McCoy is back in after Dickinson went in the second quarter. Hands off to Rock Preston, who picks up 5 yards. But speaking of Ron Williams before, and the value that he has to that Tiger Cat team, you need only look at the number of touchdowns that he has picked up. 14 on the ground and 1 through the air, but 15 to lead the Canadian Football League, and those 14 rushing touchdowns, Matt, a Tiger Cat franchise record.
Yeah, key to that statement, rushing touchdowns. He is the rushing game. You can't afford to lose him this time of year. Although they got Eric Lapointe, who's done a fabulous job for him, and Archie Anderson can always slide back in there, but Ronald Williams is valuable.
5-yard gain by Preston. 2nd and 5. McCoy back in. And finds a wide-open Travis Moore again. He's connected with him a couple of times in this game, including one that set up Calgary's first touchdown. That one down to the Tiger Cat 38. A big first down again for Calgary. 32 yards.
You want to know why he had time to do this? Because the offensive line for Calgary is doing an exceptional job across the board. Childress, Crysdale, Romano, T-Ram, and McNeil provide the protection for McCoy to simply stand in the pocket and deliver the ball to Travis Moore there.
We haven't even hit the halfway point, and 2 Calgary receivers have hit the 100-yard mark. Alan Pitts is 100 even, and now Moore with 103. The handoff. And some short yards to the right side for Calgary there. It'll be a 2nd and long. Rock Preston once again, filling in for Kelvin Anderson and getting some time now, getting some action.
Griggs in there, making it happen, mixing it up with the Florida State product. But I don't think that Rock Preston is at his best between the tackles on those dive plays and those search plays and those leads. I think he's best on space, on those sweeps, tosses, things of that nature.
Second and 9. McCoy, all kinds of time to build a house back there. They still almost get to him. Still going. Shuffles it off to Marcus Dowdell. Big first down again. Dowdell still going down to the Hamilton 20.
Sure that wasn't Flutie out there?
He looked like it for a while. A gain of 17. He had lots of time and took every second of it before finally getting rid of it, Matt.
So little McCoy magic. What throws him off at first is Hamilton does a great job of mixing up the coverage. Right at the last second, they drop to a cover 3 variation. McCoy's fooled. He's got to buy time for himself. He's running out of it and just shovels it to Marcus Dowdell, who does the rest.
McCoy handing off to Preston, and he's corralled right at the 20. Might have picked up a yard for Calgary. Rock Preston.
Tough sledding in there when he got Tiggle and Tim Terry on that side, patrolling that side of the line. They stymied him at the line of scrimmage again. Preston in between the tackles is not his forte. Get him out and around. Utilize his speed.
1-yard gain, 2nd and 9 from the 19.
And another tackle you can chalk up for Calvin Tiggle at 100 coming into this game. Not bad against the wind. Keep that in mind because it has been a factor. A good drive. And that one is intercepted. Gerald Vaughn, the ex-Stampeder and the CFL leader.
Well, they brought pressure with Rob Hitchcock from the field, and they just rotated the coverage back. Mike McCoy was fooled. He thought he had the middle wide open where he can lay the ball up for his receiver. They rotated Vaughn right back into the lane. You see Rob Hitchcock coming right in the interior there. We call that the C gap. He thinks he's got Travis Moore, but then you see Vaughn rolling back to the middle, cutting it off. Either one of them could have had that interception, but that's just a great scheme by Don Southern, and comes up with his 9th interception of the year and leads the league now in that category.
Yeah, he came into the game tied with Calgary's William Hampton with 8 apiece, but that puts him into the lead, and that, who knows, could be it. He could win in that category by season's end, which is this weekend, today essentially, given the two that are leading the way. And he played for the Stampeders, you may recall, back in the mid-90s. Played in the Grey Cup for Calgary in a losing cause to Baltimore. Still knows a few people from that team, I'm sure.
Well, he's an opposing figure out there because he's so tall as a halfback, and it looks like he takes up a whole lot more space than he actually does because he is so tall. Rangy player, can do a lot of things. Can play a Sam linebacker for you, or he can play a halfback. Make a great free safety, but they already got a great one back there in Rob Hitchcock, who forced that last play.
Now, there's an injured Ticat player down right at the end zone, and that's why there's a delay in getting this game resumed again. Under a minute to go. We'll take a break. Be right back after this.
Yeah.
Calgary leading it by 13 points in a chilly November afternoon. Chris Schelling, in his 2nd year out of Auburn, was the injured Ticat, but up and running now and heading off the field with that Ticat offense on now.
I know Ronnie Lancaster's breathing a sigh of relief right now. That's twice he's seen a couple of key players go down and then pop back up and run off. Williams and Schelling.
McManus on first down at a shotgun. That one knocked away by William Hampton. And had he been a little bit positioned differently, he might have tied Gerald Vaughn again. He just fell behind by one after Vaughn's interception.
That's one race we didn't talk about at the top of the show, the interception race here going on between Hampton and Vaughn.
And 3 interceptions of the 8 by William Hampton have resulted in touchdowns. He's had a brilliant season as well on the corner for Calgary.
He had a better break in the ball than wide receiver on that play.
On 2nd down, McManus off to his right again. Hampton was the closest one to it, and he would have been gone. So William Hampton seeing some action in this set of downs.
Well, Andrew Griggs sets her down here. Danny Mack sees something a little bit differently. Ball just kind of sails on him. Hampton almost had his 9th. Got a little extracurriculars going on down here now with Carl Coulter. He had his helmet ripped off his head. The Cooler's not in a very good mood right now.
Well, you can be sure There's a lot of players on these teams that feel they will meet again in Vancouver 3 weeks from now in the Grey Cup.
Here's a look at it right here. He and Gunn, the rookie from Pittsburgh, I mentioned him earlier, were going at it pretty good right there, and he got his hands in his face and ripped off the Cooler's helmet. That's what we call old Carl Coulter. And he was talking to me about him yesterday, saying that he gives him problems because he's so big. He's 6'5", 295, and he brings a load for a youngster.
Well, can I say with the helmet coming off that cooler heads prevail? No, I'm not going to say that. That's not for the air.
You just did.
38 seconds until the half. Osbaldiston with that wind and low driving punt back to the 35, Marvin Coleman. Good return. Just because there wasn't much hang time on it, it took a while for Hamilton coverage to get down a 56-yarder. And Mike McCoy coming back out to run the Stampeder offense. 26 seconds to go, and they have a 13-point lead.
I think at this point, Wally Buono has seen enough of Dave Dickinson. He moved the ball with extreme efficiency there into the wind, had some great success. Looked like he was on top of his game, and Wally's seen enough. He probably won't see Dickinson because he does have 2 sore shoulders going in this game. He got him healthy, got him some time, and now he's going to go with the youngster and Mike McCoy and get him ready just in case Dickinson does get nicked in these playoffs.
You have to commend Wally Buono and George Cortez for the way they've been able to insert quarterbacks and keep this offense moving. It has not been an easy year in that department for Calgary. Under pressure, McCoy gets out of it. And that one sails out of bounds. But you think of the start of the year, it's Dickinson, and Dickinson gets hurt, and then you had Henry Burris for a great game, and then they had to call up McCoy after Burris got hurt.
And it's incredible how they just keep finding that talent and that understanding of the offensive structure. And there you see it. Mike McCoy knows he doesn't have to make the plays. He's got players around him that'll do that. He's got to be smart with the football and distribute it. There, he could have tried to force it in like we've seen some young quarterbacks throughout this year do, but no, he did the smart thing and threw it out of bounds so that the offense has a chance on second down.
2nd and 10 it is. Oh, direct snap to Kelvin Anderson. Rock Preston, excuse me, in for Anderson, and a good gain up across midfield. Fooled the Ticats up the middle there. And I know you think a lot of George Cortez and the job he has done with the Stamps.
I really does. Spent a lot of time with him this year on the phone and speaking to him before ball games, and I've got to know this man, and he is the key to their success offensively and what he does with this group. He has a great understanding of what he wants to get done. He listens to each and every quarterback, their individual likes, dislikes, spends a lot of time with them in meetings, as most coaches do across the CFL. But George gets the most out of his players. You can see that in their play this year, from McCoy to Burris to Dickinson. He's got a great scheme, a high percentage scheme that they're successful in.
How long before he gets a head coaching job in this league?
We've been kicking his name around, you know, in the studio. I think he'd be a great candidate, and I talked to him about it, and he says, hey, it's the right situation. He's got to look at it as any assistant would across the league.
Interesting play to get them into 3rd and about 3, but it's still, of course, a punting situation into the wind for Tony Martino. Doesn't get it away in time. Whistle's blowing. A flag is down.
It's a good thing. Because that one went about 2 yards or 5 yards over the line of scrimmage.
Legal procedure, Calgary, number 33, 3rd down. Please reset the clock to read 15 seconds.
They want to add 4.
Please reset the clock. 15 seconds.
It has 11 on it, so they want to bring it up. 4 seconds to 15. Raymond Biggs called on procedure there for Calgary. As Wally Buono looks on, and I would assume pretty pleased to be taking a 13-point lead into the locker room, it would appear. And for once, another team, the opponent's getting penalized more than his is. His, of course, leads the CFL in penalties. And that's been a thorn in the side of Buono all season long. That one nearly blocked. Martino got it away, and not bad into that wind. As Tony Akins takes it and gets chased back to the Hamilton 20. Greg Frères with a nice tackle after a 35-yard punt. Yes, up for the Tom Pate Award for all his community service. touring many schools in the Calgary area, and considers it a pleasure, all the contributions that he does make to the community.
I think that's one of the most prestigious awards a player can receive throughout his career. It's voted on by his peers. It does exemplify how much he does get out in the community and give back to the people that are supporting their individual clubs. Greg Fears should be honored.
And on that first down,
LaPointe, the ball carrier.
Eric LaPointe, a rookie who's had a pretty good year, of course not getting the nomination despite over 600 yards rushing. Corey Grant has had an even better year, and starting every game for the Tiger Cats, but a couple of great rookies, Canadian rookies, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats this year. LaPointe, what a statement he made in that very first week against Winnipeg when he ran for 187 yards.
And then you look at his average per carry, 6.8. This kid's got a beautiful, bright future. Love to watch him play.
McManus goes down on a knee. More extracurricular activity here at the half. Flags down on the field. And a moving scrum, like a rugby match, between some angry linemen here with the Stampeders. Wally Buono coming out to see if he can separate the troops here.
Just some veterans that don't feel like playing in the second half. That's all that is. You guys, I'm gonna take a break.
Dave Hack, not a surprise to see him there. There's the big chill, Fred Childress. Not a happy day so far. Calgary 24-11 over Hamilton at the half. Back to control.
You're watching the CFL Live, and we're at the half. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, a member of One World.
Well, who said there'd be no emotion in that game?
Oh, my gosh.
By the way, don't know if you caught our pregame show and our outstanding player picks, but kind of want to change our vote. Alan Pitts.
Oh,
what a
I'm
half.
telling you, what a half for Alan Pitts, and you can see why. I mean, this year, going into this game, 92 catches, over 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. And when you watch these plays, you can understand why he is considered and respected and has that honor. Right here, concentration up in the air, keeps his eye on the football through the whole process of the play. And then this next one, the ball is thrown well behind Alan Pitts, adjusts his body in space. One of the key things receivers have to do is really react to the ball when it's in the air. The throws will not be perfect all the time. Those 2 catches, hey, that has been one of the biggest issues in those games because those were really significant plays, James.
Now, not a terrific first half for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but they're still closing on 600 points offensively for the season, so you know they're really never out of a game.
You know, they never are, and the reason is because Danny McManus finds his rhythm at different points in the game. I mean, he's just the type of quarterback that can put plays together consecutively. Look at this one out of the shotgun formation. Right over the middle on an adjustment with Corey Grant, the receiver. He takes the hit, absorbs the football. Same formation, almost an identical play. This time a different receiver, Archie Amerson, adjusts to the football in space again, leaves his feet. 3rd time in a row, Darren Flutie. Nice pass right in his hands. Hey, as long as Danny McManus has moments like this, he's going to find his receivers, and it's the fact that he can do it consecutively. Those are 3 good plays. I don't care what the score is. As long as they have McManus, they got a shot to win, James.
And for a game that was supposed to mean nothing at all, very intense first half of football in Hamilton. We are at the break in this one, and you know, Pitts rhymes with mitts, and he has quite a pair of mitts. Catch of the year by Alan Pitts, and the Stamps have the lead. All right, well, the playoffs are all set except for one teeny-weeny exception. There is still the last playoff spot in the West up for grabs, although that could be all wrapped up tonight as the Eskimos take on the Argos. Don Matthews playing his former team and looking to wrap up that final spot. Hasn't had much luck, the Eskimos haven't had against the Argos. In fact, Eskimos have lost 5 of their last 6 games, including one this year, 20-16. Now, Edmonton has had a lot of injuries this year, and really, this is the first time they think to show what they can really do on the field.
A lot of guys, you know, have said in the past that, well, you know, we can't get it done, or, you know, we've got this problem or that problem, and, you know, this is our opportunity to kind of definitively say once and for all that we're for real and that we deserve to be here.
We just have to go out and play like we know we can. We ran the ball extremely well last week, and you know, we plan to do it this week as well. It's especially important going into the playoffs if you can run the ball, especially out west with the type of weather that we usually do have during the playoffs.
We know that Coach Matthews has a great defensive scheme. He's going to come out with a great game plan. He knows this team very well here in Toronto, knows our weaknesses, knows our strengths. So they're going to be very well prepared, and I know he's going to prepare them well to come in and hopefully make a run for them to get in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know about talent level, but the Argos definitely have better hats. All right, well, we enjoyed his company in the pregame show right here in the studio, but now we've sent Glenn Suter back where he belongs, in the booth. He's going to call this one along with John Wells down at Skydome. Let us send it out to Johnny to get you ready for the Argos and the Eskimos.
James, on the second last day of the regular season, one playoff spot remains. Simply put, it belongs to the Edmonton Eskimos if they can knock off the Toronto Argonauts at Skydome. If the Eskimos lose this one, it gets a little more complicated tomorrow, and that allows Winnipeg one last chance to cross over and grab the playoff spot in the West if, in fact, they can knock off the Alouettes. So the Eskimos want to win tonight to keep that playoff string alive that's been going since 1971. Quick trip now for you. You're on the pregame show from our studios down the Don Valley Parkway and here for the game tonight.
They have the cushy job down there, I'm telling you. I'm happy to be back.
Eskimos run to win, and that's how they're going to have to overcome the Argonauts tonight.
No question about it. And the good news for Edmonton is they have a hot tailback in Sean Millington. Sean Millington is coming off a tremendous week. 225 yards rushing along the ground against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That was an Edmonton single-game rushing record. He ran with passion. He ran with authority. He will attack the middle of this Argo defense. And with Nealon Green back in the lineup, John, they can also attack the outside.
Simply put, Nealon Green is the best running quarterback in the Canadian Football League right now. He averages 9.6 yards per carry and holds the CFL record for yards by a quarterback in a single game, set in week number 2 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So the Eskimos will run the football with Millington and with quarterback Green, but they'll run against a much tougher defense here today.
Yeah, we make no mistake. This is not the Saskatchewan defense. This is the Toronto Argonaut defense, and it's the best defense in the CFL, led by one of the best run stoppers in the CFL in Michael O'Shea. When you are nominated for 3 out of the 5 awards possible, that's saying something. Michael O'Shea is simply the best linebacker in the league, and I guarantee you one thing, Sean Millington will not get 225 yards rushing in this game. Michael O'Shea will make it awful tough for him.
One final note, Don Matthews comes back to Toronto to face his old team in this building for the first time since he left the Argos last fall.
And do not forget, in that game, there's a fan tonight who'll get a chance to win $100,000 with a field goal. More on that a little bit later on. And we have one bone to pick with Mr. Suter before we get to the game. Let's see. He travels the country. He's got an entourage of like 6 people. They give him massages. They bring him hot dogs, and he gets to watch football games. And we have the cushy job?
We don't. We have the stressful job. It takes precision here.
Thanks. Now, on to this game. And the Argos, you know, we've talked about their defense. They talked about their defense. Strongest thing all year. They've also been very inconsistent on offense. And one of the things they have not done enough is really get the ball to Daryl Mitchell.
You know, it would be great to see Daryl Mitchell back as a predominant player within this offense. Remember early, Daryl Mitchell had that crossing pattern. He'd catch it in full stride, and then he was gone for a touchdown. And then that complemented Tyrone Brown so well in terms of the seam pattern. The tough thing is those type of patterns take time to develop, so it becomes a protection issue if you can get those guys in open areas. They'll miss Chad Folk this afternoon, there's no doubt about it. But then another player becomes really critical to their protection package, and that isn't necessarily an offensive lineman. That's fullback Tony Burse. He has to be crystal clear on the blitz pickup, the priority of the linebackers trying to pressure the quarterback. If he is, I think that will help Jay Barker, that will help his confidence. If he makes mistakes in the mental area, knowing Don Matthews is going to pressure the quarterback, that will be an issue that could determine the game, James.
Now, on the Eskimos end, the guys mentioned Nealon Green and his versatility. He's really a coach's dream because you can really provide a two-pronged offense with him.
Not only a two-pronged, I see 3 different phases to the Edmonton Eskimo offense. Number 1, 2 tight ends. Bash Sean Millington in there and really set a precedent by running the football again. They've done that well progressively in the last third of the season. Number 2, spread them all out. Donnie Ashley, Freddie Bailey, Terry Vaughn, Ed Hervey, Mark Tolbert, get them in space. Get those athletes in open areas and then let them run with the ball. And then the third phase, and this is something you can't prepare for. Take those 5 receivers I mentioned, run them down the field. If Nealon Green sees an open area, just take off. Remember, this is a kid that ran for 180 yards early in the season. He did it then. He can do it again tonight, James.
You know, watching us talk about football. It's a fun job. It's a real easy job. But, you know, this season, they also asked us to be actors. Thespians, some might say. You may have seen our commercials on TSN, and no, we are not quitting our day jobs.
No.
Here's why. Some of the parts you didn't see.
Actors. Hey, Matt, 1991. He's smiling, man. Come on, man. This is my big moment.
The director.
All right. This is my ISO. Hey, Matt, 1991, Cole, Greg Coughlin. You gotta stop. I can't. If you bust out, I'm going to bust out. 1990, man.
Guys, I think this is worse than a sprain. I don't know if I can do the show tonight.
Hey, listen, TV pretty boy. This ain't nothing.
Get that out, baby. Get that out.
Got it out. You'll do the show tonight. Between Schultz and I, damn it, we've had 25 surgeries, and you will play tonight. I'm gonna get you jacked up. You run through walls for me, boy.
Guys, I think this is worse than a sprain. I don't know if I can do the show tonight.
What, TV pretty boy?
Wait a minute, James. That's a single tomato. A sandwich like this deserves double coverage. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Chris, and you're absolutely right. But as you can see, the bacon is to the wide side of the sandwich here. It needs to be head up over the lettuce, and for us to have a chance at a good sandwich. Carolyn, can you...
I've almost got it.
Still rolling.
Work with me, baby. Work with me.
Try Matt? Excellent point, Chris.
It's all about chemistry.
It's just so funny. It's all about bad acting.
Yes.
Most of those were Matt's fault, though.
All of them were Matt's fault.
We nailed them.
We were trying.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. You were good. Your first half statistics, Calgary dominating 244 yards passing. The Hamilton rushing game absolutely non-existent. They only had 6 yards, and Calgary also dominating time of possession. That is why they have the lead. Wally Buono has to be happy. We spoke to him earlier.
What are your comments on the first half, Coach? Well, it was a bad start, but I thought we played well so far. Will Dickinson play in the second half? No, he won't. We want him to play some in the second quarter. He did. I think he feels good about what he accomplishes. His shoulder's good, and right now I think we'll let Mike take the rest of the way. Thanks very much, Coach. Good luck. Yeah. Thank you.
Nothing game? Well, tell these guys about it. Looks like Sunday dinner at the Schultz's. Second half coming up.
It's an 8-game regular season losing streak for the Hamilton Tiger Cats against the Calgary Stampeders, and they're on the way to 9 straight unless they can turn it around. 24-11 for the Stamps, getting set for the third quarter of play. And this is what Ticats coach Ron Lancaster had to say about that first 30 minutes.
Sir, what are you going to do in the second half to turn it around?
Well, I think try to play a little bit smarter football. That wasn't a very good half of football for us, and we just can't play like that against a good football team. We just need to get some things going, get some things on our side, get some confidence.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Okay.
Danny Mack's got to get something going, Rod. You know, that first half, his numbers weren't that bad, but the production offensively, the timing on the field just wasn't a typical Hamilton Tiger Cat offense unit right now. 9 of 17, 110 yards. No TDs, no picks. Could have had a couple go the other way, but Danny Mack will turn it around here, try to put a lock on that most outstanding player award from the East here.
Well, I'll tell you what'll look good. Over 5,000 yards passing, and that's one of the good things that happened to McManus early on in this game. The leading passer in terms of yardage this year, and goes over 5,000 for the first time in his career. And it has been a pretty good career along the way.
He's setting all kinds of Hamilton Tiger Cat passing records right now. He's got a half a dozen of them or so that he's just blowing out of the water and setting new standards for it as this game goes on. Completions, attempts, yardage, touchdowns, all those things.
And this seems to be his time of year too. Even in the cold weather. In the past, well, the Stamps know all about that and upsets that they've suffered when he was in Edmonton, when he was in BC. How much will he play in the second half, you've got to wonder.
He knows how to get to the Grey Cup, that's for sure.
He certainly does. This second half is underway. Calgary, remember, they deferred the pick. They want the wind in the fourth quarter, so they're against it. Archie Amerson with the ball and taken down. His return goes up to the Hamilton 39. Chad Chris, the Calgary nominee for Rookie of the Year, in on the tackle.
He's blended in really well with an outstanding secondary of the Stampeders. He's had a great year. He's showing you what he can do. If you're not willing to play special teams here in the Canadian Football League, you don't have a roster spot. Chad Chris is showing you exactly how you have to play this game. Special teams, defensive side of the ball, getting it done.
And he got in as a starter early after Eddie Davis went down in week 3, suffered a season-ending knee injury. Chris has been there ever since. Out of the shotgun and a handoff to Eric Lapointe. A quick hit that goes for about 4 yards. And are we going to see some changes, though, and see some subs in more, like Eric Lapointe, in the second half, do you think?
Well, I would suspect so.
Second and 7 from the 42.
You'd be really second-guessing yourself if, in fact, some of your starters and key players got hurt and you left them in too long. I think you're going to see a lot of changes here in the second half. Danny Mac probably get this quarter, then you'll see him probably leave the game.
McMahon is still in on second down at a shotgun. Good coverage, but a flag comes down. Looks like the coverage was a little too good on Mike Moriali. Chad Chris, the man there, I believe, will be called for interference and doesn't like it.
Better be careful there, showing a lot of emotion, a little upset. Moriali was doing a good job of acting, going all the way down the field there before the ball even hit the turf. He was acting. He couldn't get to it. Chad had good inside position. Moriali just was kind of like drawing a charge in basketball. He just put his arms up and said, look, I can't go anywhere. Good veteran move by Moriali. Nothing wrong with doing that.
Well, did you ever coach some receivers to do that? You had time? Never.
No.
They had their axe. McManus knocked down. That happened a few times in the first half.
Kellogg getting his hands up. Coming off the edge. A little blitz off the edge there, getting his hands up. Not going to get to Danny Mac because he's going to get rid of the ball faster than anybody you'll see play this game. Did the second best thing. If you can't get there, get your hands up, deflect it, impair his vision.
Unless Calgary's defense goes on a ridiculous tear, Hamilton will have the fewest sacks allowed total in league history. A remarkable achievement, 7 only this year. That's completed to Moriali. So add to McManus's passing totals. That's a first down Hamilton, unless it's Calgary football. He fumbled it. The Stamps say they have it. So their offense will be coming on. It's Calgary football. Moriali had it, and after getting possession, coughed up the ball inside the Stampeder 40.
Moriali coming off the line of scrimmage on Kellogg. Does a good job of finding the zone in the soft spot, securing it. And then a helmet's put right on the football, and he coughs it up. It's 2 weeks in a row. Moriali has been in some last week controversial call against BC. This week, clear fumble.
He was frustrated last week, Matt, especially because he was basically being held from getting down by BC defenders. Ron Lancaster was upset as well. That ended up going BC's way. The Lions won a close game and denied Hamilton of any further shot of getting first in the East with that loss. Ticats are fired up, though. That's Joe Hagens in on the tackle.
Hagens, McGriggs, Tim Terry. It was just a party in the backfield. Party at Anderson's.
And everybody's invited.
Yes. Oh, that's ugly.
Second and 13.
That doesn't feel good. The turf is hard to begin with, and it's a little bit cold. You're going the wrong way. You know you're losing yards. Ugly feeling.
Second and 13. Stamps at the 35. Leading by 13. McCoy throwing. Complete. Dowdell cuts up and gets a Calgary first down and then some across the 50. Good work after the reception by Marcus Dowdell.
That is so key right there, Rod. The work after the reception was incredible. His burst just to run away from defenders at that point was exceptional. I did not know that Marcus Dowdell possessed this type of burst right here. He got out and around, gets a critical first down for Calgary. Moving the chains, going against the wind.
The Stamps have done very well in this game, especially when Dave Dickinson was in the second quarter, moving against the wind. There's Kelvin Anderson. Not moving much on this one. A gain of a yard, maybe 2.
Anderson, the ball carrier. Terry on the tackle.
So we've seen Anderson in there. We've also seen Rock Preston subbing him. Wally Buono has done that a couple of times. Been very tough going for Anderson, though. Averaging a little over about 2.5 per carry.
He's still about 26 yards ahead of Williams, though. On the other side of the ball.
True enough. And the combined yardage leader. Well, they've got him. McCoy is down, and it was a committee in there to meet him. Montford was there, McGriggs, and Mike Campbell as well.
That's a good example of a younger quarterback, and Mike McCoy has only been in this league, you know, for a little over 3/4 of a season, as opposed to Dave Dickinson. They're bringing the heat. It's cover 0 or pressure defense when you've got the free safety coming out of the middle. You got more defenders coming than you have blocking, and it usually spells the demise of the quarterback. And Mike McCoy did not read it and get rid of the football and took the sack.
So McCoy is out. Tony Martino is in. To kick it against the wind, standing at his 30. Kelvin Anderson coming back on. They were one man shy. And now they can get it away if there's enough time. Big pressure up the middle. A flag goes down. And taking it inside the 30 for the Ticats is Tony Akins, who ends up just heading out of bounds close to the 30-yard line. A punt of 40 yards against the wind for Calgary. And the flag is against the Stampeders. So you make them punt it again?
In this wind, yes, I think you do.
And Martino is still on the field, and of course against that wind they will.
Legal substitution. Calgary, number 32, third down repeated.
Well, they realized that they were a man short, and Anderson was late getting on the field.
And that's what will drive you crazy as a head coach. They want to come out here and stay focused, play sound fundamental football, and when you get substitution penalties like that and just silly mental errors like this here, it really drives a coach batty in a game like this, because that's what you're susceptible to is falling asleep and not staying focused and concentrated. And we saw an example of that.
Penalties drive Wally Buono crazy, even when his team is winning. Martino now at the 20. And that last punt was a good one into that driving wind, 40-yarder. See if he can do it again. It's pretty nice. It's low and spiral. It carries. Akins gets a good block. Gets some room. Tony Akins. Outside, he turns the corner, and Greg Frears. And only Martino to beat. Martino, a good job getting in his way and getting him out of bounds at the 30. 36-yard punt, 38-yard return. +2 for the Ticats, but they're down by 13. Good return by Tony Akins, although his Tiger Cats are trailing by 13, 24-11. And with us now up in the booth, the co-owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, George Grant, who saw this team really turn around under the ownership of you and David McDonald. George, last year going to the Grey Cup, and who knows, this year into the playoffs again. Your thoughts really on the season the Tiger Cats have had this year?
It's been an interesting season, Rod. We've been kind of up and down, but it's been a lot of fun watching this team continue what Ron Lancaster has built for a second year in a row.
And throwing on first down here, Danny McManus. Darrell Hall with the football. They blow it off, incomplete. It'll be second down.
George, going into the playoffs and with your club at this point, what concerns you most about your football team going into the playoffs this year?
I think, Matt, probably which team shows up that day. If our best team shows up, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, it is night and day. When your team is on, they're unstoppable. When not, you see what's happening out here today. Well, I think that I know a lot of guys in the studio have him picked to be represented out of the East.
That is second down now out of the shotgun. McManus looks off to his right. Flag down as it's caught. Andrew Gregg what would be a first down. Well, I know, George, you're wearing more than one hat, not only with the Tiger Cats, but also as vice chair of the Vanier Cup Committee, of course, the Vanier Cup, our national university football championship.
Another receiver, Calgary, number 3, declined.
Jack Kellogg penalized there, but just tell me about the Vanier Cup and obviously coming up right now. What's new there?
Well, this year we have our game the same weekend as Grey Cup. We have the Vanier in Toronto on the 27th. The Grey Cup, and Matt, to try and answer your question from before, hopefully with our whole team with us on the 28th in Vancouver. We've got a pretty exciting show lined up this year. We have career jams. It's a chance to meet recruiting people from various organizations.
And you just got to see your team get a touchdown.
Maybe we brought them up.
George, that's a beautiful example of what Danny Mac can do. He read the defense, knew he had a hot throw, seam, and he hit Archie Emerson for the score right there. Not many young quarterbacks, not many quarterbacks in the league could have made that throw right there. That's what he brings to the table. Quick release, ability to read a defense and make it happen for you in a hurry.
Yeah, he's certainly been a marvelous quarterback, Matt. The best one we've had for a couple of years. We had a guy by the name of Dunnigan who looked pretty good just before him.
I just didn't have the good fortune of staying in that Tiger Cat uniform long enough.
So they could be down by 6 after this one by Osbaldiston. Hasn't missed one all year, and he's had a chance to convert a lot of touchdowns. But anyway, have another look at what happened here, and maybe if this keeps going on, George, you'll join us for the rest of the half.
I think if we keep scoring, I'll just stay here, Rod.
Archie Emerson.
Danny Mac threw that ball before Archie knew it was out of his hand, and he turned and looked, put one arm up, and it stuck him right in the palm. And he's all smiles now on the sidelines. Great play. Of course, Hamilton needs a lot of that in this quarter because the wind is at their back, and if they're going to have a chance of catching up to this Calgary team and coming away with the win here, they're going to have to get a lead, I believe, here in this third quarter, and they got a ways to go yet.
George, once again, back to the Vanier Cup, and tell me, was there a concern that the national championship would move out of Skydome?
Very definitely, Rod. There was a huge question as to whether we could continue to afford to have it there. Our chairman, Jeff Chan, and I and some of our committee members met with Skydome. They were terrific. They gave us a terrific rent break. In principle, we've agreed to an extended contract. Our future is looking bright, both with Vanier and at Skydome.
You've got a special interest in this Vanier Cup this year because your son is playing on a team that's capable of being there.
He's got the Acadia Axeman hat.
That's right. Will is what? He's a defensive back. Start defensive back.
That's right, Matt. He was a quarterback, but he switched over this year to DB. He's enjoying it thoroughly, and yeah, I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, good luck to you, and good luck to Will, too.
Thanks very much, Matt.
Off the kickoff, Stamps football, Marvin Coleman. And taken down inside the 30, so the Cats seem to be fired up with the win here in this third quarter. But yeah, he plays for Acadia. Acadia takes on St. Mary's next week in the Atlantic Championship, the winner going to the Atlantic Bowl. Tell me, though, you mentioned the Grey Cup and the Vanier being on the same weekend. It seems to be a bit of a problem, like a number of things, but football media divided for one thing. Is that something that you're going to try to avoid in the future?
Absolutely. This just happens to be a fluke. It happened this year. The good news, one's in Toronto, the other's in Vancouver, as opposed to being close together. So in future, the Vanier will be the last game of the year. It'll be held the first weekend in December.
Mike McCoy standing under center now. First down, Stampeders. Their lead cut to 6, 24-18. And under pressure, nowhere to go. Who gets the sack? You always have to ask now. As a flag goes down, McGreg's in there. And Hagen's as well. I believe Montfort getting up.
Major foul, face mask, Hamilton, number 92. First down.
Excuse me, Tim Terry was the one involved in that one, but all for naught as the flag goes down, and it'll be an automatic first down for the Calgary Stampeders.
Here's a peek at it right here. Tim Terry, he's getting his PhD from Temple. Used to using his mind, use his hands right here. Got him up a little too high, caught up in Mike McCoy's face mask.
So the crowd getting fired up now. On a first down, Calgary. Early movement, Montfort. Flags down. It'll be outside Hamilton. And back-to-back penalties against the Tiger Cats unless he was drawn.
Joe figured, hey, what the heck? I'm over here. Why not sack the quarterback? I'm used to doing that all year long. So maybe they didn't see me. He was about 2 yards over the line of scrimmage, though.
Another thing.
Offside, Hamilton, number 53. First down repeated.
Another thing about the Vanier Cup, George, about the crowds, the attendance had dropped since significant meeting in the first one in 1989 between Western and Saskatchewan. How much of a concern has that been at Sky Dome, and how much of it, I guess, is really dependent on what schools show up?
Well, it's always a factor, Rod, depending on which schools show up, but last year we're up about 20% in attendance. We expect at least that this year. I expect we'll be at least 20 plus in terms of the attendance. And we'll continue to grow from there.
Direct snap to Kelvin Anderson, but it's Joe Higgins with the football, whistled down. Anderson taking the snap and picking up about 9 yards on the play, close to a first down for Calgary.
Not for a plug or anything for Rod and myself, but who's calling that game this year, the Red Day Cup?
Well, it's TSN, who's one of our best partners in a list of terrific partners. Certainly, we're very appreciative to have TSN calling the games for us, Matt, and being such a terrific media sponsor.
Well, I knew TSN was sponsored, and I was just wondering specifically who is going to be calling the game in the booth for y'all.
Well, you're going to have to ask Keith Peller.
I was just hoping you'd answer that, you and Rod, Matt.
Well, I can certainly put a plug in if it's any help.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Well, I tell you, on the first down by Calgary, I've had the pleasure, along with Jamie Bone, the last 4 years, and it was Gord Miller before that and Michael Ensberg, but it's always been a trade, and for me, going back, I had a few years playing college football, and it was a dream to get to that game. I never did, and it was held back at Varsity Stadium then, but you know, you play at that level, and it carries a great amount of prestige. I don't care where exactly you're playing it. With Sky Dome, it's been a treat, but it's an enjoyable game to be a part of.
Well, the fact, too, that there's only one, as opposed to all the bowl games in the States, we just have one university championship.
McCoy under a lot of pressure, but he gets away and runs for about 5 yards on first down Calgary. So once again, against the wind, the Stampeders are doing a nice job moving this football.
5-yard gain.
In my, I guess I would say 18 years of being associated with the Canadian Football League, I can't remember the Vanier Cup not being just a gem of a game, just outstanding play. And you make the point that it's the only game. There are no other bowls, and it comes down to this one championship playoff game, and they've always seemed to be just fantastic games. You expect the same this year, I'm sure?
Oh, absolutely, Matt. The other thing I should mention is that the tickets are very affordable. You can buy a ticket starting at $12. If you've got a group, let's say minor football, whatever you'd like to bring, call us. We'll make you a special deal. So we're anxious to have as many people as possible come. Metro Bowl, of course, will be played there. There's a lot of stuff happening the whole week. It's not just one football game.
I think that was a great idea, too, getting the high school championship involved in the Toronto area to bring more fans in and package it with it. Listen, good luck to your Tiger Cats, George, and good luck with the Vanier Cup as well. We'll see you there, and looking forward to it.
Thanks very much, Rod. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate the chance to talk about Vanier.
Our pleasure for stopping by. George Grant's Tiger Cats down by 6 with the Stampeders moving the football. Out to the side, a swing pass to Kelvin Anderson, nowhere to go. Lamar McGriggs has him, and down he goes. That was 2nd and 10. It's lost yardage, a loss of about 1.
Well, I think the fans get a sense of urgency here and knows how important it is for the Hamilton defense to turn it back over the offense as quickly as possible so they can get back into the end zone. Spirited defensive series by the Hamilton Tiger Cats there. Gave up a couple of penalties, which kept the drive alive, but they're flying around. You wouldn't think this is a nothing game.
Well, remember, October 16th, 1994, 8 regular season games, 2 playoff games. It's been that long since Hamilton has beaten Calgary. And I'm sure a lot of people in this city think it is about time, even in this game. Because who knows? Maybe they have a 3rd meeting planned. A lot of teams would have something to say about that, however. On the punt return, no yards called, up to the 30. After just a 26-yarder by Martino into the wind. Stamp 24, Ticats 18 on CFL Live. Rod Smith and Matt Dunnigan back at Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, where the Ticats have the football and they have the win. 4:34 to go until they'll have to go against it. And Danny McManus trying to throw through an official almost, I believe. That one going incomplete. We talked about the head-to-head meetings with Calgary, all going in favor of the red and white, as evidenced by this. That is domination.
That's a long time. 1994 is the last time Hamilton actually beat this Calgary football team. You just look at that there, 10 consecutive games. That's dominance. I think it's extremely important for this Hamilton team to come out on top here, just to prove to themselves going in the playoffs they can actually beat Calgary.
It even gets more impressive when you look at Wally Buono's number there against Hamilton. McManus airs it out, and William Hampton had a beat on it, but he gets beat by Andrew Grigg. While Hampton waited for it, Grigg got in front, takes it down to the 15. Here come the Tiger Cats.
Talked to Grigg yesterday, and he said, I said, Andrew, you need 219 for 1,000. Can you get it? And he kind of laughed. But hey, this is a big chunk of it right here. He just does a great job of going to the ball, cuts in front of Hampton, makes a spectacular catch.
Well, he has 3 catches for 102 yards now.
Another 117, he's there.
Got to go to him a lot late in this game.
It could happen. It's a 52-yarder right there.
1st and 10. Ticats knocking on the door. Inside, off the fingertips of Morreale, and it falls incomplete.
McManus' pass intended for Morreale, incomplete.
This is normally what Calgary likes to bring pressure. It means they bring a safety. Like Greg Fears will come out of the middle and they'll try to force Danny McManus to throw the ball soon. Make an errant read, possibly put the ball up, maybe create a turnover here. Look for Greg Fears, number 12, your free safety, to be involved in some action here in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Fears had a key interception to McManus back in October the 1st in Calgary. It ended the game. And they brought the house, and down goes incomplete pass. Flags down. And against the Tiger Cats.
Well, they bought Frears right off in the strong C gap.
Hamilton, number 68. Still 2nd down.
They did play 0 there. Kind of probably got Hamilton's attention up and made him move just a little bit because they were trying to adjust to the blitz.
Dave Hack called for the procedure.
Drew a penalty. See if they do it again.
He's had a great year, though. I mentioned before, Hamilton's nominee is top offensive lineman.
They got their nickel personnel. They take out a defensive lineman, put in an extra defensive back.
2nd and 15. McManus finds somebody, complete inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal, Tiger Cats. Trevor Shaw, reserve slot back with a big catch.
Cover 2-man here. That means you got man coverage underneath and you got 2 deep safeties. This is a coverage that Wally says he likes to mix in there about a half a dozen times a game. This is actually the coverage that they picked off Danny McManus at McMahon in the last play to preserve their 21-17 victory on August 2nd. Last time these two clubs met, well, they just ran it. Danny McManus made them pay that time.
The Ticats have had leads of 7-0 and 10-7. Since then, they've been behind. McManus bobbles the snap and has no choice but to fall on it. So it'll be 2nd and goal. And Hamilton trying to get the lead back. With a converted touchdown, they would, trailing 24-18. A wasted down, however. How frustrating is that for a quarterback when you're knocking on the door and you blow off a down like that?
I can't even put it into words. It is just, you just know you've missed an opportunity to actually put your team in a great situation with the win at your back, ahead for the 1st time or 2nd time in the game. I think he's got 2 cracks at it here, though.
And here's one crack. He's running. McManus wrapped up around the 2. He gets close.
Okay, that's 2 plays in a row. We've seen Danny McManus put in situations he doesn't like to be in. 1, ball's on the ground, having to recover it. 2, on the quarterback draw. Here he is right here. It's a design play, takes a snap, tries to set Steve Anderson up, does a good job of avoiding him, can't get off, gets off a gun, and then Kellogg's there to plug it up.
Jack Kellogg and Jason Clement in on the tackle of McManus. Now, Wally Buono went for it a lot further out on 3rd down, and they got that amazing touchdown to Alan Pitts. This is 3rd and 1 from the 1.
figured they'd get 2 cracks out or 3 cracks at it down here, and that's what they're doing.
Handoff, touchdown, Eric LaPointe. And the Ticats are a convert from taking the lead.
Well, they needed that. You know, it's 3-down territory down there. You need this victory against Calgary just for your mental health. This was what we call a walk-in. Got a great lead there by Chris Burns. Virtually untouched to the end zone, LaPointe is. That's probably the easiest one he's had all year.
Well, we just talked to George Grant about the Vanier Cup and the CIAU. Eric LaPointe never got there, although he was close, and he was a dominant running back in the Canadian University ranks for years. 2-time Heck Crichton Trophy winner. Not a bad rookie campaign in the CFL. Puts the Ticats in the lead. Stay tuned following the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Super 8 Motels. Life's great at Super 8. Eric LaPointe, more than 700 yards rushing in his rookie season, and just picked up a touchdown. The scoring drive, once again, brought to you by Buckacall. 7 plays, 70 yards. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats, for the first time since the first quarter, lead this ball game, 25-24. And a booming kickoff by Osbaldiston with the wind. Marvin Coleman getting up near the 28. And bear in mind, in a game this close, when it comes down to the kicking game, it is advantage Calgary, because in 34 seconds, they switch ends and the Stampeders have the wind the rest of the way. Mike McCoy had a great game last week against Montreal. Pretty good one going in this one, of course. But against Montreal, they were down by 10. He engineered 17 straight points, couple of touchdown tosses to Alan Pitts. And Calgary rallied and beat the Alouettes at McMahon.
It seems like he hasn't been on track here in this third quarter. He really hasn't, but that's because he's got the wind facing him, plus a fired Hamilton defense.
Calvin Anderson, nowhere to go, and a flag is down just as he is taken down, as that Tiger Cat defense still looks to be fired up.
Anderson, the ball carrier.
So he got hands up in the face mask again.
Flag in the play.
Well, Terry was called on that other face mask the previous drive that kept Calgary moving the football. And he's the one discussing it with an official. Looks to be him again on the tackle of Calvin Anderson.
Face mask, Hamilton, number 15. First down.
Now they call Joe Higgins.
We're pointing fingers at poor Tim Terry, and it's Higgins getting the infraction. But then again, we see right here, maybe Terry got away with one. Right there, the big long arms of Mr. Tim Terry. He's made an impact in this Hamilton club. They can't speak enough about it. He's made such an impact, it's going to be difficult for Gonzalo Floyd to get back on the field.
But gets another face mask call there. They run it to Anderson, who takes it over midfield. First down, Calgary.
That is why I like the Calgary Stampeders to win the West, because they have both facets of their offense. They have a great running game and a passing game, and we saw it right there.
At the quarter, a change of lead here. The Tiger Cats up front by 1 through 3. Back to CFL Live Control.
You're watching the CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by Toyota Canada and its dealers.
Well, we have to say it again. The buzz in the crowd, the emotion of the players, these guys are not playing out the string, especially the Ticats. They look like they're in the Grey Cup game.
Oh, I think they're really into this game, which may head up into the Grey Cup game, and it's really interesting how it's all been turned over on how the different phases on this football team have supported each other. And when you watch these plays, it's very evident to me that it all works together. Phase number 1, great defensive play, sack on Mike McCoy. Well, guess what that sets up? The special teams phase. Nice kick to Tony Akins, but watch how Akins sets up this return. This little dip to the right there, that freezes the feet of the coverage team, which allows him to gain that seam, that separation, and he heads on down the sidelines, puts Hamilton in excellent field position. That special team phase, well, that sets up phase number 3, the offensive phase. And here, Danny McManus, that window of opportunity, wow, it happened so fast you didn't even see it. Nice catch by Archie Amerson. Right now, the Hamilton Ticats are playing with the level of emotion and the level of commitment you need that is a Grey Cup champion. All three phases came together in that third quarter, James.
Very, very quick question. Do you leave Danny McManus in?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. When you have success, you just run with it.
But if he got hurt, boy,
then I change my mind.
This season will be over. Don't forget, doubleheader day on TSN. Don Matthews and the Eskimos trying to keep that playoff streak intact as they take on the Argos. 7:30 Eastern, the start time on that one.
And the third quarter stats are brought to you by Castrol GTX. Drive hard. Passing yardage, well, it's been pretty good for both teams, Matt.
It really has, but look at the bottom of your screen there. Possession, time of possession, 26-19 basically for Calgary. I think that's a big indicator, because when you can get a lopsided time of possession like that with this wind, it can really make a difference in a ball game. It means you're sustaining drives into the wind, and it makes all the difference in the world.
That wind still kicking into the night here in Hamilton in a 25-24 game. Calgary trailing by a point, but with the wind and the ball at midfield. Swing pass Anderson. Nowhere to go. Maybe a gain of 2 yards. A good job on him once again by Joe Higgins and Calvin Tiggle, and once again Tim Terry is in on the tackle.
Second and 8 from the 52-yard line.
A 2-yard pickup for the leader in combined yardage.
Adding to that total.
Adding to it. It was close. Jimmy the Jet Cunningham was just a couple of yards away coming in to this weekend. But Anderson ahead again. McCoy chooses to take off and has a first down. Gets out of bounds at the Hamilton 42.
Nifty little pump fake there to freeze Calvin Tiggle. Otherwise, he was going to get blown up by 73 there. But he pump faked into the middle, froze Calvin Tiggle a little bit. And the next thing you know, Mike McCoy's got some room around the outside. Here's a look at it from his viewpoint. He pumps right there, freezes Tiggle, buys himself some space, does a smart thing of running clearly out of bounds.
And if you think he runs around sometimes like a nervous, expectant father, he is. His girlfriend did have their first child November the 17th. That pass is knocked down. Incomplete. Gerald Vaughn has already had an interception in this game, and the coverage there for Hamilton and intended for Travis Moore. Alan Pitts has had a big year, Matt. Of course, now #1 in receiving yardage in CFL history.
Yeah, this is a catch right there in Edmonton. It's kind of unspectacular for a spectacular career, but he did it on that reception right there. Getting down and dirty, making it happen for his team.
Calgary's nominee for MVP. Intercepted. Lamar McGriggs drops the ball. They say it's incomplete. They say he never had control of it.
Hey, Lamar's going to go ahead and give himself 10 push-ups.
He's doing push-ups on the field.
Because when you drop one in practice like that, coaches always say, drop down, give me 10. It's a little punishment, little thing they do. Here's a good shot of it. McCoy buying himself some time. Then makes a poor decision here. McGriggs fighting it the whole way, puts it on the ground, then he drops down right there. Does a quick 10 push-ups, pays the price. That's classic.
Won't need to get disciplined when he goes off. He's already paid.
I think that shows some of his personality, though. You know, he just loves the game. He knows he messed up. All right, guys, here, I'll pay the price. Do 10 for you in front of the fans.
With the wind, Mark McLaughlin trying one from just inside the 50. Blocked. Flagged down. Ticats trying to get on the ball. It'll be Hamilton's anyway.
Put a fork in it. That sucker was greasy.
It was slipping and sliding all over the place.
Nothing like going after a loose ball.
They're still trying to sort things out. A huddle of officials. And around the Tiger Cat 33.
course, discussing the ramifications after a block field goal and then a penalty to boot.
Wally's wondering what's going on. Is his team going to have another crack at a field goal?
Now Ron Lancaster and Wally Buono.
Ronnie seems pretty confident.
Those two go back a long way. Of course, Alberta rivals for much of this decade. Wally in Calgary and Ron Lancaster in Edmonton. And they have each upset each other in playoff football. That's a rivalry that goes back now, just with a different team, and of course renewed last year in Winnipeg when they clashed in the Grey Cup.
We got it sorted out yet, Rod?
Well, the Jeopardy music's over, and they still haven't given us the answer.
No yards. Calgary, number 67. First down.
So, of course, crossing the line of scrimmage, getting partially blocked, it's treated like a punt. And so no yards had to be given, and so it is Hamilton football. Lancaster took over the Edmonton Eskimos in 1991, got first place that year, and Wally Buono's Stampeders upset him. A big touchdown pass from Danny Barrett to Pee Wee Smith sealed the deal, and Calgary went on to face Matt Dunnigan and the Toronto Argonauts in the Grey Cup that year. But later in '93, Lancaster's Eskimos knocked off Wally Buono's Stampeders, team that was 15-3. Beat them in Calgary. The Grey Cup was there that year, and Lancaster won a Grey Cup. The Eskimos took it.
And then what happened? It was at 90 what?
93. I believe it was somebody's Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I mentioned your name for the win, right?
Yeah, I appreciate it, yeah. But it wasn't me in the Toronto Argonauts. It was Rocket in the Toronto Argonauts.
Absolutely. He had a punt return for a touchdown in that one. Oh, I think you with the bad shoulder and all, I believe, or collarbone, had a pretty good day there.
Well, thank God for modern medicine.
Yeah.
I mean, put a little Xylocaine, a little Marcaine in there, fire it up 3 or 4 times, and it's good.
It was so cold in Winnipeg, it was freezing, right?
Oh, it's minus 20 that game, or minus 19 that game.
But the collarbone
shot
too.
Frozen, the collarbones in 3 different pieces, and we kind of went with it.
Anyway, it was the week before that, a first playoff clash between Ron Lancaster and Wally Buono, and they have had quite a history together. And who knows, maybe they will be standing on opposing sidelines 3 weeks from now at BC Place. It would be ridiculous to rule it out, even though they have second-place teams. McManus airing it out. Looking for a bundle in Darren Floaty, but good coverage there by Jack Kellogg, incomplete.
I think this is a pretty good indication just how important this game is to the Hamilton Tiger Cats when you have Danny McManus going into the 4th quarter in a game that's supposed to mean nothing, continuing to play with a 1-point lead. I think this is a clear indication of just how badly Hamilton wants to beat Calgary to prove to themselves prior to the playoffs that they can get the job done. Ball just kind of hung up there a little bit in this wind, and otherwise I think Danny McManus and Darren Flutie have hooked up again.
14 for 27 in one game in Winnipeg a few weeks ago. He was 19 for 21. Best percentage in a game ever. That one caught by Trevor Shaw, who had another big catch to set up Hamilton's most recent touchdown, and close to first down yardage for the Ticats, although it will be short. Paul Osbaldiston coming out to punt it away, but 2 yards short.
Yeah, he had 90.5 completion percentage that game, 19 of 21. That's ungodly. That is unbelievable. I remember Phil Simms in the Super Bowl one time was...
Oh, against the Broncos, Giants Broncos.
It was 22 of 25.
And that was incredible. Yeah, he was 88% there, but yeah, 19 of 21. That's silliness.
That's a zone. That was just the epitome of being in a zone.
From his 30, Osbaldiston. Nice low driving punt. Pretty good one. Down to Coleman. As Marvin Coleman knifes his way up to the 37 on a 13-yard return. Stampeders trailing by 1 on CFL Live. Stampeder football trailing by a point, but with the wind here, 11:54 to go in the 4th quarter. When they talk about the roar in Hamilton, and you're getting a bit of it today, giving it more of a playoff type feel. Play action fake, looking deep. Down, Al has it. Down inside the 10, Stampeders first and goal.
Let's take advantage of the wind at your back, airing it out like that. Marcus Dowdell showing us that he does have the wheels. Play action simply just developed this play. Mike McCoy did a great job of selling the run and then throws a dime to Marcus Dowdell. Actually just about 2 yards short, otherwise he would have had a walk in there. The play action does one. It helps your offensive linemen on their protection, and it sucks in the linebacker, sucked into free safety there. McCoy went up over the top in a hurry.
Allen Pitts 100 yards. Travis Moore 103, and now Dowdell 3 catches 96 yards. Putting the Stamps in business. McCoy, end zone, just beyond the outstretched arms of Vince Danielson.
We haven't heard much from Vince tonight, although he's caught a touchdown pass. They like him down here in the red zone in the scoring area. Right here, he's open. It's just a touch pass. Mike had to kind of throw this off balance, meaning his feet weren't planted underneath him, so he had to throw it in an awkward position and just kind of lost his target on it a little bit.
So it's 2nd and goal. From far away for a goal-to-goal situation on the 9. Out of the shotgun is McCoy. Looking for the end zone again. Under pressure, gets away from it. Still on his feet, scrambles closer, and gets down to the 3. Now what will Calgary do? But the 3-yard line, remember, it's goal to go. They've got to get it in on this down. Or will they send on McLaughlin? They will. Go with the sure thing, you'd have to think. A chip shot to give Calgary the lead again, down by a point. Field goal team coming on.
3rd down.
Here's another look at it here. Got 4 wide receivers to the left. We got Travis Moore. Looks like he got a good part of shelling right there to the corner, but Mike McCoy by that time had pressure in his face, had to take his eyes off the defensive secondary and just kind of run for his life. Looked like the expecting father running around now.
So McCoy, this will be a 10-yard chance with Jack Kellogg holding. Up and in, no problem. And so another lead change. And wouldn't you know it, it's a 2-point lead, Calgary over Hamilton, just like it was when the Grey Cup ended last year. We'll be back. Last November, Winnipeg Stadium. One of the big plays for the Calgary offense, Jeff Garcia over to Vince Danielson. The Stamps would ultimately move to this final play of the game, and Mark McLaughlin, a 35-yarder to win it. Calgary gets the Grey Cup and the ring that goes along with it. 26-24 was the final score in that one, thanks to a McLaughlin field goal here with 9:33 to go. In the 4th, it's 27-25 Calgary. Another 2-point game. They're all close, it seems, between these two, and there's a catch by Corey Grant, the Ticat rookie, up to the Hamilton 50. Corey Grant, nominated by the Tiger Cats, his top rookie for Hamilton this year. And here's a look at the rest of the Cats, Matt.
Agree with all those right there. Rob Hitchcock, I think, is the best free safety in the league this year. He's proven that. Danny McManus having a career year. Calvin Tiggle leading the league in tackles with 100+. Hack is involved in every game. And Corey Grant really been a great addition to this football team.
Grant going for it again, Archie Amerson, and gets the completion. Amerson, another first down. At about the 42 of Calgary, so the Cats are answering right back, and Grant is still down at about the 50.
Yeah, Danny McManus is starting to get on a roll here. And this is, understand this too, this is into the wind. He's throwing this ball like he's got the wind to his back. This is how strong he is. Look at those wrists on that guy, his forearms like Popeye. He just flick of the wrist there and the ball is gone. It's fun to watch. Difficult to do, fun to watch. You can really appreciate it if you've been a quarterback, just how pure a passer this guy is.
They'll have a chance to come over and talk things over while Corey Grant is down. Danny McManus was your backup. I talked to Ronnie Lancaster. He was your backup in Winnipeg. And could you see the things then, the potential when he was with you then? I mean, because you were the guy, but he went to a Grey Cup with you in '92, and And before moving to BC, he had been a backup in this league.
Yeah, you know, Danny spent quite some time, 5 years basically, as a backup in a backup capacity, learning this game. And I think take heed of that, folks that are listening. I mean, it takes time to understand and develop into a consistent, solid quarterback in this league. And Danny McManus has proven that over the last 4 years, and then this year, his 5th year, he's just lighting it up because he understands what he wants to get done on the football field. And he's learning from one of the best as well, with Ronnie Lancaster on the sidelines. Who else would you want to learn the game from but Hall of Famer that leads everything in the statistical categories than Ronnie Lancaster?
A concern for Lancaster, though, with Corey Grant, is a star rookie wideout walking off the field now after being injured, but the good news, walking off on his own. Product of Wilfrid Laurier University. He was a star there in Canadian college football.
I think that injury actually occurred in the first play when he caught that comeback, the one that Danny McManus threw for a first down there, and then he just kind of caught up to him on the next one.
Most recently, a pass to Archie Emerson has given the Cats a first down, and they pick up good first down yardage there. It's Darren Flutie on the receiving end inside the 35.
Yeah, Chad Chris gives him a little extra too going out of bounds here. We got a shot of it coming off right at you. Flutie in motion, buying himself some time, using a pick there, or a rub as we call it offensively. And then Shad making sure he goes clearly out of bounds into the wall here at Iverwin.
They spot the ball at the Calgary 37, but after the Stamps and a McLaughlin field goal, a 10-yarder, put them up by 2. Hamilton is driving back looking to answer, and although there still is a good breeze, it seems to have died down a little bit, which could work to Hamilton's favor. They get into a field goal situation now.
Ozzy's had a tremendous year. He leads the league in points scored this year, and I just believe that this is a chip shot for him, irregardless of the 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Well, as it stands now, it would take a 44-yarder. They'll get closer by the looks of things here. Oh, in and out of the hands of Archie Emerson. It looked like a nice pass by McManus, but it's incomplete.
Now that's the one Danny McManus is going to talk to himself, go back on the sidelines now. He understands that all he needed was 5 yards there, but he pushes the ball down the field. He could have walked in for that one. He could have walked for the first down there. He's trying to make it happen. You can't fault him for that, but he'll go back and say, all I needed was 5 there, and I tried to get too much. I should have dumped it down or taken it upon myself.
Before the game, Osbaldiston said anything outside the 40 could be a real adventure. With that win, this one a 44-yard try, has the distance and has the accuracy, and 3 go on the board for the Ticats. They have the lead back. Ozzy answers back. 28-27 Hamilton. We've got a game. It's a doubleheader CFL Saturday to wrap up the season for us, and in between, check out Sports Desk with Teresa Cruz. That is coming up next after this one is done with 7:50 to go in the 4th quarter. The Desk with Teresa Cruz. And after that, the second part, the second half, the Edmonton Eskimos, the Toronto Argonauts. And for the Eskimos, if they win, they are assured of a playoff spot in 3rd place in the West. Of course, they have 3rd locked up in the West, but Winnipeg would have an opportunity to get in there if Edmonton should lose to the Argos and the Bombers knock off Montreal at Molson Stadium tomorrow. That's the motivation, pretty clear for the Eskimos. Mike McCoy talking to George Cortez and coming back on now, once again dealing with a 1-point deficit. The Stampeders have these nominees for the awards at the end. High praise for kicker Mark McLaughlin, his top Canadian in the year he's had. And Alan Pitts, of course, as well. Well, McCoy does a good job getting away, but it's too low. Falls incomplete. He was just about in the grasp there by Joe Montford. But once again, the nominees for the Calgary Stampeders here.
You look at Calgary's offensive line, and when you talk about Thomas Ram, Freddie Childress, Jamie Crysdale, Jay McNeil, and then Rocco Romano stands out amongst a group like that. That's a feather in your hat alone right there. Rocco Romano having a tremendous year amongst a star-studded cast.
13-year veteran, Romano. Forward out to the right. It's caught by Travis Moore, already more than 100 yards today, and he picks up 9 there, just shy of a first down. Be another interesting call for Wally Buono here.
Be more interesting if this was a playoff game.
I'll tell you, it feels like it.
It does. He's got a feel for it. The folks here are getting treated something special. Their team is fighting this game, knowing that they want to come out victorious against the Calgary team and break that streak.
Almost like trying to recreate what happened in Winnipeg last year. And they're going for it here. 3rd and 1 at midfield. A keeper by McCoy, and he gets across that white line, marking midfield. The sticks will move. The Stamps on the move again.
Follow Jamie Crysdale just on a quarterback sneak. Just went on a quick count, tried to catch the Hamilton defensive line off guard. They were hunkering down in there, just kind of marking their territory, and then boom, the ball was snapped, and he just fouled Jamie on a nice block up front and picked up the necessary yardage.
These two teams share a lot of bonds, being in the Grey Cup last year, finishing first last year, finishing second this year, and both losing 3 of 4 to the team that wound up winning first in their divisions. BC in the case of Calgary, Montreal in the case of Hamilton. Out of the shotgun. Shovel pass to Moore. And he picks up a quick 6 there. Gets it up inside the Hamilton 50, down to about the 47. Wally Buono quite sincerely said first place would be nice, Matt, but it doesn't really matter. And Buono knows what it's like to finish first. But he also knows the pitfalls. 2 of the last 8 first-place teams have gone to the Grey Cup, gone on to win it. Calgary in 92 and 98 have gone on to do it. They won the Grey Cup both of those years, but Calgary has also lost after finishing first a couple of times as well. He knows it both ways. Receiving end is Aubrey Cummings, product of Acadia, with a first down for Calgary. So, and a flag is down. I believe Alan Pitts jumping across early there for the Stamps. But yes, that's negated. But I mean, Wally certainly knows.
Calgary, number 18, second down repeated.
As does Ron Lancaster, that first place sometimes can be a burden of expectation.
He really does. And walking with him on the sidelines prior to the game, just say, hey, he said, I don't care. No, I'm just going to go out here. We're going to play hard, play the game, do what's necessary to try to win the game. He says, but if we finish, you know, like we have, then it doesn't matter. He didn't watch the game last night. He couldn't care less. He was going to take the same approach with his football team.
So it's 2nd and long instead of that first down because of the penalty. And it bounces off the hands of Aubrey Cummings this time and falls incomplete. This time, Calgary will have to punt.
Gerald Vaughn thought he had a beat on it, and in fact, the ball wasn't thrown this high. He would have had a pick, his 10th of the season, but this one was just a little out of the reach of Cummings. Actually bopped him right in the helmet. But Gerald Vaughn thought he had his 10th interception of the season. It's a long throw. It's a scary throw. Coaches hold their breath when they see that ball come out the wide field out.
Tony Martino could tie this game with the wind and a really good punt.
He's capable of a 54-yarder, no problem.
He led the CFL in punting average last year, but he won't get it close to single territory. Oh, he gets the bounce. Spoke too soon as it blows by Emerson. And he does indeed get the kick that will tie this game up. Conceding the single point. A 68-yard punt with that nice roll for Tony Martino. 28-28.
It's the last thing these coaches want is overtime when this game means nothing to them. But Gerald Vaughn put good pressure on Tony Martino to make him kind of hit that punt there, but then he got the fortunate bounce and he's seen a roll in the end zone to tie this game.
That is something I hadn't even considered, Matt, the possibility of having to play some overtime.
And then we'd see the benches empty there for sure. Coach said, all right, enough's enough. All right, you, water boy, get out there. I just don't think that they want to see that happen. It's been a well-played football game.
It really
exciting
has.
one.
It really has. Sometimes you think they play
just pay lip service to the fact that this game will still mean something, even though it doesn't in the standings. But I think both teams have delivered on that. The quick pass over to Corey Grant, back in the game and getting up near the 40, and pick up more than 5 yards for the Cats.
McManus's pass completely Grant.
Well, we talked about it in the studio in last night's game, our Adidas Friday Night Football game, and the importance of when you strap on the helmet. And you know this, being a college football player. When you strap on that helmet, you better be buckled up and ready to go, or else you're going to get hurt. You can't step on between those lines without that mental attitude or approach.
Something both coaches have made sure they've gotten through their players in this one. On second down, complete first down, Hamilton. Archie Amerson up at the Ticat 50, and in a tie game, down to 3-minute warning country. It's just under 3 now. The Tiger Cats are once again showing they can move the ball very well against the wind.
Archie Emerson playing with a lot of emotion. Just love to see that. Knows it's a tight game. Loves contributing. This kid brings that exciting factor to his football club.
So the 3-minute warning is issued. 2:59 on the clock here at Iverwin Stadium. But a good one. 28-28 in the fourth. The crunch of the game brought to you by CarStar. Matt, this was a good one.
Oh, Chris Schelling just annihilates Alan Pitts.
CarStar crunch of the game brought to you by CarStar Collision Repair Center. We do a bang-up job every time. Call 1-800-CARSTAR for your nearest location. That was quite a pop. And Eric LaPointe carrying the football there on first down for Hamilton, getting up across midfield.
Could definitely tell when LaPointe carries the ball, because he goes north-south in a hurry. It means he comes downhill. Not a lot of moves there. He's going to hit the initial hole and explode through it. Plus, he's got the high white socks pulled way up. Very easy to recognize his ball carrier's style of running and the way he wears his uniform as well.
Flag down with the snap of the football. Pass completed to Corey Grant. Down to the 38. Got inside on William Hampton, who was upset about it afterwards, but as mentioned, this could be coming back. And I believe it will be. Still discussing the penalty right at midfield.
Well, they had Frank Rocca split out as like a wideout. It's the biggest wideout I've seen in the history of the game. They had him split out as a wideout, and it looked like they might have had an illegal formation. And it's difficult for the referees to figure this one out. Did he report or didn't he report?
This one meeting here at midfield is taking a long time, and Frank Rock is one of the ones who's back in trying to discuss things and find out exactly what went wrong here, but here we go.
Legal procedure, Hamilton, number 69, reported in to play in, played in the slot back position, second down repeated.
You're bang on, partner.
Well, I got lucky. Alex Trebek just, got finished with the song there, and the answer is, or the question was, Frank Rocca lined up in the slot back position, did not report in, it cost him 5 yards.
And because of it, this tie game is not in jeopardy yet either. Second and long.
Get the guy right here!
So finally we play again after a long break to sort this out. 4 to the right, 2 to the left for McManus, who puts it over the middle and complete, but still short of the first down.
McManus's pass complete to LaPointe. Henry on the
Eric
tackle.
LaPointe catching that one, but the punting unit will come on. 2:16 to go on the clock here in the fourth.
With Ozzy's leg, if they were a little closer, might let him take a crack at one. Heck, they let McCallum do one from 63 last night. Ozzy certainly could do it, even into the wind.
Last time these two teams met, Paul Osbaldiston had kicks of 53 and 55 yards. 55 is season high. Standing inside is 45 now to punt it away. Clock down under 2 now. High snap. Gets it away low. Content to go out of bounds inside the 25.
Low and effective.
And no chance for return for the Stampeders, who'll come on now to run their offense. Their 2-minute offense, as it were, in a 28-28 tie. 1:53 to go. Mike McCoy out of the shotgun and first down. Lots of time. And Alan Pitts, with the ball thrown behind him, can't hang on to it. It's incomplete.
Incomplete. Second and 10 from the 22.
Not a bad guy to be locked on to this time of the game. Alan Pitts coming across the middle, just threw the behind him a little bit. Alan can come up with these catches, as we saw in the end zone earlier.
Just going to say it's pretty hard to hold it against him.
Look at that
what he did in the first half, but remarkable. Another 100-yard gain for Alan Pitts in a Hall of Fame career. He stamps 51 and 9 when he gets 100, but not winning this one, not yet anyways. That one is knocked down, and just as quickly as Calgary came on the field, they're heading off.
McCoy's pass batted down by Mike Campbell.
Oh, Mike Campbell getting his hands up. Here's Pitts coming off the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's open, sitting down in the hole. He wants the ball. He said, "Feed it to me, Mike." But Mike has already eliminated him and moved on to a second and third read. Throws a deflected ball, goes incomplete. Hamilton's going to have a chance here to seal this one away.
Tony Martino to punt again. The last time he punted, he tied the game. What a beautiful punt. This one's better than the last one, but of course, kicking a lot deeper in his zone. Taken by Tony Akins. And a decent return as he knifes up to the Hamilton 44. So the Ticats, even against the wind, will have good field position after a 55-yard punt and an 11-yard return. The Ticats, Matt, now have an excellent chance to end this losing streak against the Calgary Stampeders.
Man, I know all the Hamilton fans are tired of seeing that. They want to see that snap tonight. I know the Hamilton club, Bonnie Lancaster, would love to do it as well, just for their team's mental health. Yeah, we can beat this club.
Next week, the playoff road begins. It'll be Hamilton hosting Toronto. It'll be Calgary hosting either Winnipeg or Edmonton. The Eskimos can decide that tonight in the second half of our doubleheader. McManus, complete, first down. Tiger Cats, Archie Emerson across midfield.
Again, we see the excitement that he shows after catching ball, contributing. Danny McManus certainly going the distance in this game, showing you how important it is for the Ticats coming with the victory. This is an end zone shot. Danny Mac throwing a wide field out, gets a lot behind it. We know he's got a strong arm. Archie's got the respect to shed. Chris, and he's pretty excited about it too, showing everybody in the stands. Let's get up. Let's take this one now. Let's break this record.
Throwing again. Corey Grant has 5. No more. It'll be second down. 1:05 on the clock here at Ivor Wynn in the fourth quarter of a 28-28 tie. The result in terms of the standings means nothing, but you wouldn't know it with the kind of energy you feel here at Ivor Wynn.
Fans are loving it. This is a typical CFL game. This is beautiful. That's what it's all about. Danny Mac leading the way, trying to get the victory.
He's been in those situations many times before in games that mean a whole lot more than this one does. Offside Calgary by the looks of things. It's whistled down even before the ball is snapped.
It's a veteran offensive move right there, pulling him offside, drawing with his voice inflection right there. Gets a simple first down for his Hamilton club. Move the chains.
Mark Gunn, 91 Calgary, with the early movement. across the line, and the whistle blew.
Offside, Calgary, number 91. First down.
Moves the chains, gets down to the 42, Calgary. 46 on the clock. Osbaldiston had a 44-yarder, so realistically, if they can get it to the 37, they know they're within his range.
Well, he's in the range right now. It was a chip shot last time. He wasn't even putting out effort.
For Corey Grant, he's got it. Well, they're definitely within range now. If there was any debate before, down around the 10-yard line, the rookie wideout for the Tiger Cats.
This is why this guy's up for the award, Rookie of the Year award for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Danny McMahon lays it up perfectly right there. I don't know whether or not he had possession of it right here. It looks like he's fumbling the ball right here, and then his next step is out of bounds. Hey, tight one. Let's get this one over with. Wally and Ronnie are saying Danny McManus, after he threw that ball, was already looking to the sideline saying, "Coach, let's run the play in the middle of the field and line it up for Ozzie." It's exactly what we see being done right there. Smart play by the Hamilton club to set up the chip shot for Ozzie in the middle of the field.
Eric Lapointe, the ball carrier, to the right and in front of those uprights.
Traversy on the tackle.
And there's Paul Osbaldiston awaiting his turn.
Calgary.
And Osbaldiston's had those moments before. Remember the Eastern Final last year. That was with the win, but 54 yards to beat Montreal, knock the Alouettes out. Ticats, although they would not be thinking ahead, they got a tough Argo team to beat first, but would love to get a return date in Montreal against those Als. See if they can get back to the Grey Cup. A lot of football before that, though.
But I think what we're seeing here in this last drive in particular is the experience of a veteran quarterback and what it means to his team. Drawing the Calgary team offsides for a critical first down to give them a couple more opportunities. Throwing a strike to Corey Grant, and then positioning his team in this situation for an easy chip shot and victory to give them some peace of mind to know that they actually can beat the Stampeders in the 90s.
Yeah, it's been since 94. Hey, this is not the Grey Cup. We wouldn't kid you on that one. Wouldn't try. But it means something to Hamilton. And you have to think, because of Calgary's dominance, these are my own words, no one else's, but I have to think this game meant more to the Ticats. And I'm sure, again, Calgary's given every effort and has treated the game very seriously. But you talked about it before, the mindset of losing to a team year after year in big games and in small. If the two are to meet again in 3 weeks' time, you'd have to draw back on games like this.
And they will, because it's the most recent. And they proved to themselves this year with the players that are on the rosters now that they can do it. All that streak and everything else is good for, to just kind of squash it and start fresh. But this game here is the most important one because these players possibly could see each other 3 weeks down the road.
They're just letting time tick down now. They're so close down to the 10. It would be a 17-yard attempt now. Not even setting up in formation yet. Taking a timeout here with 12 seconds to go on the clock. Well, if recent games do mean anything, they can tuck this one away if we are to assume a Tiger Cat victory. And remember the teams that they were beaten by for first place this year. The most recent game between Calgary and BC, the Stamps finally won it. The most recent game between the Tiger Cats and the Alouettes, the Tiger Cats finally won it. So the Lions and the Owls won those series 3-1, but the most recent memory, should they meet these opponents again in the East and West Finals, will be of that most recent meeting.
And that's important, and that's what you draw on. You don't think back to what happened the first year. You think what happened last week or 2 weeks ago.
17 yards away with 12 seconds on the clock. And years of frustration that went even before Ron Lancaster's time as a Hamilton Tiger Cat would come to an end. They want to put another second on the clock. It stands at 12. They want it reset to 13.
You can't tell me this game doesn't mean anything to those coaches down there. They're asking for seconds back on the clock, and it's a 28-28 tie ball game. Wally knows he still might have a chance for 2-3 plays after this.
The regular season has been long enough. Put another second on the clock and a 28-28 tie. What a treat it has been this afternoon, and what could have easily been branded a nothing game. 8 regular season losses straight, 2 playoff losses for the Hamilton Tiger Cats to the Calgary Stampeders. About, it would seem, to be coming to an end.
Listen to this crowd if Ozzie puts this through.
Up and in. Still 12 seconds to go on the clock. The Tiger Cats lead at 31-28.
Must have felt good after what happened last November. Turned the tables on them right then, didn't they?
They did, although obviously not the same magnitude of game, but yeah. I mean, it's this time Hamilton putting it through to take the lead. And with 12 seconds at the 35, McCoy will need one very big play to even give Mark McLaughlin a chance here. Although do remember, there is still a pretty good breeze picking up going left to right. Well, a chance for one play here. Aubrey Cummings with it. Stays in bounds. Clock ticking down. 1 second showing on the clock. 1 second still showing.
McCoy's pass completely coming.
And even for hurricane-type winds, it's out of the range of a kicker, I would think. Danny McManus gets the Adidas game ball. 24-38, 338 yards. The one touchdown, and he is not picked.
Another day at the office for Danny McManus.
Sure is. This will be the last play, barring penalty. McCoy wants to air it up. He's taken down. Joe Montford. Does he fall a half sack shy? 2 sacks today, giving him 26. James Quick Parker had 26 and a half in 1984. What a way to end the game. And finally, the Hamilton Tiger Cats solved the Calgary Stampeders. They would have preferred to end the streak last November, but they'll take it this November. Who knows if they'll meet again in 3 weeks' time. 31-28 Hamilton.